The Cuban's here. All right, Kevin, Aaron, welcoming our for episode 13.
Are we live?
Danny, yeah, we're rolling.
We're rolling?
I don't know how else to start this.
All right.
No, we just introduced the
Doesn't even
guest.
have a name yet.
No, that's a good thing. Maybe you can help us come up with a name for the podcast.
I still don't have a name for this podcast.
I would say, based on this authentic environment, it should be garage talk. Honestly.
Garage Talk.
Thought about it.
One of Aaron's ideas today was paper bags.
No
lie though, that would be a good idea because we're in town, so we can catch people stumbling out of the bar and put a paper bag over their head.
Hey, you want to come on the podcast?
Go for an interview.
I was just talking about how the fact that you can walk over there, get completely hammered, and just walk back home.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That is pretty legit.
Yeah,
We haven't seen that since Down Steakhouse. It's
and
been a
even
while.
then, it was only popping, once or twice a year. Now,
a fly.
did you? That's garage
Hey,
garage quality.
Yeah.
Garage quality fly right there, baby. No,
You guys make K-Cup coffee on your way here?
Yeah,
We did.
we'll keep it Keurig.
Keep it Keurig.
I'm actually admiring yours. That's
Got
legit.
my French
that's
press
fresh
going on.
French is.
Yeah, the original
Danny,
French
it's okay
press.
to chill on this podcast. If we had like some weed or something, like the Joe Rogan podcast, we'd light it up. You're looking a little tense there, buddy.
Me?
No, I'm actually admiring this. This is really legit.
I have my
didn't
medicine.
know
Kevin does
you
real
knew
coffee.
About really good coffee, man.
I have my medicine.
When you go to Cuba, it's all
Oh,
they
I
never
should show
have
you.
big cups. It's all little cups.
Look at it. My name's on it.
This product, Relief Vaporizer Pen.
There's wellness centers all up in Bonita.
Great.
He's got a.
It's medical. It's CBD and THC.
Oh, let's not even talk about
Anxiety
CBD. That's when the stock talk starts coming out of me. Start mentioning CBD. Oh, it looks like a jewel pen there. Might have to short it.
CBD coin on crypto? Like it's
Bitch, there's a coin for fucking everything.
probably a dozen coins for
There
There's
is.
millions of coins.
You saw that guy that just went down?
Mhm.
Yeah.
in the crypto world.
Yeah, it was a pyramid scheme, so they took him down.
Oh, he was like a core seller or suck.
Basically, it was
Yeah.
no real cryptocurrency. They were just putting in money, and it was just a pyramid scheme.
It's just a way to take people's money on the exchange.
Pretty much.
What's another word for those pyramid schemes? A pump and dump or something like that?
No,
That's in the stock
That's in the
terms.
stock
That's,
market.
yeah, that's what's happened a lot in the crypto world. Since it's not regulated, that's what's kind of dangerous. So you can make a lot of money quickly, but a lot of stuff that's been regulated out, it's kind of the wild west, basically.
Yeah.
That's why you don't hold.
Did
Just day
anything
trade, baby.
happen for crypto standards? Like you said, they were putting standards on it in February.
Yeah, all that. Basically, with the government shutdown,
Fell
it all
through.
got pushed forward.
Yeah.
All got pushed
I
forward.
mean, the technology is fascinating, but the fact that when everybody talks about a new crypto, it's all just positive because people will buy in and they just want the stuff to go up a little bit and then just pull
I'm
out.
sure you can hear him.
So
You can hear him, right? You can hear
Go
us
ahead.
pretty loud or no?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Talk, Danny.
testing.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, just keep it like a fist away from your mouth.
No, 'cause sometimes that's him talking to like Rock's voice. I don't know if it's
Oh.
still picking up the noise.
Just pull it to you wherever's comfortable.
This is an amazing setup.
Is
It's
it
a boom
comfortable
mic.
or no?
It is legit.
Pretty chill?
Yeah.
I tried to make it chill, as comfortable as I could, but
Usually the best podcast.
I
is
set
when
it up
think-
and everybody
I think-
scattered. Swear to God. I tried to set up a most comfy table with a couple microphones and a tablet. And
My sister would be so happy right now if she could see this.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you took this table.
Oh,
'Cause
this was
I
hers?
had. Yeah, well, I bought.
Cool. I'm so glad I did not put that big piece of wood on top like I told you I was going to do.
I got an apartment and it already comes with like a little island, so I had absolutely nowhere to put this thing, and so
Repurpose.
absolutely
Garage
no,
quality
this
podcast.
This is really legit. My sister had this in storage, man. This thing is awesome.
Yeah. Did
Yeah.
Aaron get you into stocks too or no?
I've got my feet wet a little
Yeah.
bit, but I haven't
Pulled
dedicated.
money off of it because I can
I-
maybe.
I
I
guess
treat it like
what-
scratch off ticket.
What scared me is I just got lucky.
Like, it
I
might-
put a
might
bunch
get
of money
lucky.
into Facebook when it went down, and when it went back up, I pulled out because I had a financial situation,
Uh-huh.
and literally like 2 days later, it went down. And I realized, okay, yeah, I made money,
Uh-huh.
but it was just pure luck.
Yeah,
and
scratch-
that's what
like a scratch-off
caused me.
ticket.
Yeah,
Lotto
pretty much. So I realized, you know what? Yeah, I made some money, but it was dumb luck. and
That's all I see myself doing.
I need to.
But have you seen what he does during the day? Have you sat with him
I have
and watched
I
the
have,
candlesticks and the bullish, bearish? What the the
Bollinger Band.
It makes you feel like a little kid again talking to him. You know, when you're a small child and you overhear adults talk, and you're like, man, it just sounds like gibberish. And then he starts going off within a few minutes. I'm like,
You forgot when to stop him, right?
Yeah.
You're like, wait a minute, I lost you out there. I forgot to
Pigeons
say you.
versus
I got
the
a
Bulls.
I got a call, and this trade, you know, this pyramid, you know.
What do you short the tip? No,
Yeah.
the top.
Wait for the candlestick to not drop. What?
But
Oh man, my neck is killing me.
Dude, the best podcast I think was 7 when we had the Coronas. We went through like a 12 pack right here.
We
of Coronas.
killed a 12-pack of Coronas. The box was right here, and we just kept stacking them on empty ones on the table.
Oh man, that conversation got real slurred by the end of the night.
It was, and we were talking over each other too.
Yeah, we had some good conversations.
That's
I mean,
what the headphones are good for. Like if we were, I'm trying to get some good over-the-ear one-wire headphones. That way we can
talk
all.
to Danny. That's the Verizon king now. Remember we talked
shit.
about in podcast 3. I passed the torch.
Speaking of overpriced headphones, a buddy of mine bought me an Xbox One X. The legit, like the
Damn.
holy grail
Yeah.
of Xbox gaming, and I was so happy. And
He bought you the whole console?
Yeah, he did.
Holy
and
shit.
Then, it was.
What are you laughing for, Aaron?
Oh, that's a great story.
Well, it was funny that you start giggling because now it just reminds me of why he ended up doing that. So I bought a console off of him.
Uh-huh.
I had a buddy who didn't have one, and so I gave it to him for pretty much nothing.
Oh.
And then he sold it, and so for nothing, you know.
Damn. So it was like a gift back?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But anyway, going back, I lost track there. Expensive headsets. So he bought me the console so I would play this game called PUBG with him, and I was absolutely terrible at it. Just toilet soup. And so I ended up buying a pair of $250 Ultimate Gaming Astro something headsets, and I never use it.
No?
Yeah, I have this awesome gaming desk with a nice monitor and Xbox One X, and I never use the damn thing.
If I put another one of these, that way I can get 1, 2, 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I wire this again, and then that'll give us all headsets, right? Or will it be all disturbed or be all distorted? I mean,
I don't know, to be
disturbed.
honest with you. Like, I remember I was telling you.
I do all
was
this
just- I
live
was
on the
just
air, by the way.
Why not?
tech support. Yeah, we just
Just
sit around.
dial them in. No, remember I told you like I didn't.
I
even
am-
think
How much
so-
you want
so-
for those headsets, buddy?
Oh, they're just for like legit gaming.
They're just
Yeah.
collect dust.
So
basically.
they have a mic piece coming off of them.
Yeah, I mean,
I
there
could do
are-
this podcast with all. I call it like the. Fuck, I just forgot the guy's name. The Madden headset.
Oh,
We could all do like
Hello?
that Turtle Beach with the headset and the thing, but it's weird because I like to have no headset. Or like the option
It's
to
weird,
have a
'cause
headset
some
or not,
podcasts you
and then
see they
have
wear
a
them.
mic
They
like it's a
wear them
radio
and some they
station
don't.
kind of feeling.
well, I still feel like a bonehead because I found out that you can download the Xbox One app on your phone,
Yeah,
and just with AirPods, you can hear the game, and
you can play PUBG on your phone.
No, but you can, like, if you're playing, you can
Uh-huh.
just have the earpods in, and so you could still talk to other gamers and hear the game in your headphones.
Wow, with the Apple AirBuds.
Yeah, my buddy showed me how, and I was like, oh, I already
Holy
had a
shit,
pair,
we never.
so-
I never see that coming.
AirPods. We gotta
AirPods,
get some
yeah.
AirPods. Dude.
I gotta get
AirPods.
the
AirPods are legit.
The Samsung thing.
I thought
the
they were-
Samsung version. Does AirPods work with the Samsung
Yes,
phone?
they do. Yes, my girlfriend has a.
Does it
My
really?
wife
Really?
has an S8, and she uses. I got her a pair of AirPods, and they work great.
They work on the
Damn.
Samsung.
Yes, they do,
didn't
and they
know
work
that.
great.
How do you pair them? Same
just
way.
via Bluetooth. The only thing you lose on an Android is
Siri.
no. Oh, well, yeah, Siri, but
Well, you don't
when
have
you
Siri.
when you
To be-
when you flip up
what I
when you flip up the little case that they come in,
Yeah.
and they pop up on the screen on an iPhone, it doesn't do that on.
Yeah, probably exclusive Apple shit.
It's nothing. You're not really.
Excuse
losing
me?
anything.
Just remember, this table's 2-1 now. We can get real
Oh, yeah,
controversial
we
like
got
episode
real
2.
stuff.
We can get real controversial.
Yeah.
All right. I got a topic to bring up.
You guys
All right,
aren't coming
real-
with your matching notch hairline.
Oh,
Did you see the family
oh, hey,
one?
wait, turn real quick. Is that the punch hole?
Did you do
right
that?
there?
It
Is
is the punch hole.
I like it.
Hey, here's a real question. Real question. We're about to bring up a topic. We're gonna name some topics here and debate. All right. First topic I'm bringing up: R. Kelly. Guilty or innocent?
Guilty as shit.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Have you seen the
He has a cult,
CBS?
man. He's a cult leader.
Have you seen the interview though?
Have you
I haven't.
seen
Which one are you
what
talking
his
about?
old attorney, the one that got him off, his like when he had
Do you want to
filed?
play it? Oh, we can. Can we play it?
No, but I mean, you heard about his ex-attorney, defense attorney, who got him off, is dying of cancer. So he didn't give a shit. He's spilling all the beans, and he said it was so bad with R. Kelly that he took libido suppressing medication so that he would calm down. Like that's how horny this guy is. Jesus. That he had to take libido suppressing drugs, and he's still. He still couldn't contain himself. That's crazy.
Lord.
I saw the interview for the first time. I saw the interview for the first time.
He's going to end up losing everything because he just got out of jail for unpaid child support. It was under 200, just under 200,000. So, yeah. But it's hard.
He doesn't narrow his.
I think he's innocent until proven guilty.
I mean,
You must really have a lot of those songs on your iTunes.
Now,
I just remember Trapped in the Closet, episodes 1 through 13.
What do you guys think about the stuff that's happening with Michael Jackson? And I only bring that up
Michael
because
Jackson, what is happening to Michael Jackson?
they had a
Did you see the
huge documentary on
No.
him.
Oh my God!
What'd I miss out?
You missed the biggest.
All right. Well,
Danny.
pretty
President will
much.
shut up, by the way.
Where I wanted to get
Mute
you
it.
guys feedback on though is R. Kelly's alive. All right, so I think everybody saw his laughable interview. You're killing me, you're killing me. But the thing is, he's able to defend himself. The man is alive.
Yeah.
And you saw this Finding Neverland, and I'm not going to say he did or he did not. All I'm saying is he's not alive to defend himself.
Yep.
There was even a recent thing, I think, on John Wayne. Somebody pulled an interview from the 70s that he did on Playboy, commenting on socialism, and they're attacking his legacy. And it's like, for me, if someone is not around, same thing with like Steve Jobs. Like Steve Jobs,
Man.
polarizing figure, but he's dead,
Yeah.
and he's not around to defend himself. So what's you guys' opinion on
What are they accusing him
attacking
of?
someone's legacy or attacking them when they're alive?
No,
Do you think it's appropriate to attack somebody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
When they're dead?
Freedom of speech.
When
That's
they're
why I
dead?
started this, because freedom of speech goes everywhere. What'd you say?
you said if they're dead, they're not alive. You still agree? You can attack?
Yeah. It's freedom of speech. You got if there's a it's a big group of people. It's not one person that made that documentary. Did you watch the whole thing? I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched highlights on YouTube and then everybody talking about it.
I mean, the
but
bottom line is this: the guy admitted,
3 or
even
4 different-
after he got off the charges that were filed against him, he still would continue to sleep with little boys.
Yeah.
He would
That's all.
sleep.
He would admit it too. He said.
I mean, come on, the
he
guy
laid with them. But
It's
that's all he said
hard
he did, though.
to imagine. I mean, I know he had a rough childhood,
Yeah.
but a lot of famous athletes did so too. They had a father that pressed them hard. Floyd
Yeah.
Mayweather,
Yeah.
Tiger Woods, and I think he blamed his father or used his father to, hide his pedophilia, basically. But I mean, he built an amusement park.
In his
he literally
house,
had an
and a candy
amusement
store,
park. Yeah,
and a zoo.
That's fucking hilarious.
yeah, and I mean, he was always holding hands with little kids, and I mean, I have a hard time, and I'll admit, I absolutely adore his music.
Yeah.
At my job, I'll always be like, okay, Google, play Michael Jackson radio,
Yeah.
and I can't do it now.
Really?
Yeah, and
You're
it gives
pulling
me
off of his music
It
now,
gives me
too?
the heebie-jeebies
Damn.
because I can only imagine what he was doing to these young men, and he was. There's stars, and then there was him. He was like a god.
Yeah.
It's certain people just they can actually you can be really starstruck. Michael Jackson, if you just saw him, I remember as a child how big he was.
What do we do with those people when we catch them and they're alive? Like he's dead and gone. Like
Yeah.
pedophiles, they lock him up and they let him out. It's like,
Well,
what?
that's
Don't
the
they-
next
Jeez.
conversation. Our prison system. Our prison system is it's a business. Like,
Yeah.
let's be honest.
And you know,
No, that
it's a
is
business.
yeah, but I mean, we have I believe it's 5% of the world's population, but we have 25% of the world's prison population, which is
Our
ridiculous.
population in prison.
Bro, my
right?
dad has.
No. You take the prison population in the entire world. 25% of it is here in the United States.
Bro, like my dad's always said, prisons, like, yo, look, you don't have to worry about being homeless. You get 3 square meals. You get to play with the boys at once a day. You know what I mean? Or play with the boys in other ways. Who knows?
That's weird too to think about, because I remember coming here not really knowing. I grew up, high school and all that. Most of my schooling was in Puerto Rico, so I didn't really understand American politics. I got here, and I remember in 2008 getting excited about Obama and voting for him, and always thinking, this is the for the party for Hispanics and African Americans, minorities, the little guy. Yeah. And finding out the damage that Bill Clinton did with the '94 crime bill, and how literally the prison population doubled, and it affected minorities way more than like 1 in 3.
That's basically selling people.
It reminds me kind of healthcare of, that they say, patient cured is a customer lost. And I feel like that party.
That's such a
nasty
statement.
It is, but I had a professor tell me that in college that I was paying for. And I feel like the left, they obviously they give the impression, they manipulate people's emotions to think, okay, this is where we have your best interest. Yeah. But what they did, they really crippled that community. Yeah.
For generations, they built a stigma.
Yeah, and I mean, Clinton eventually apologized, but it was really half-assed, and it was only because his wife was, running for president. Yeah. And that also puts you in a weird situation, because if you attack the left, like right now we have like politics on a team sport. So if you immediately attack the left, then you're automatically a hardcore Trump supporter, or you hate women, or you hate minorities, and it's like, wait a minute, you guys have been taking these people's votes, and in reality, you're not doing anything for them. But
have you heard of Candace Owens?
Yes, I have.
She's a conservative African American girl, and she's running around trying to collect up all the, change all those Democrat votes that they just signed on for. It's like that was their vote, no matter what.
It wouldn't surprise me if it wouldn't, because for a long time, African Americans voted right. Mm-hmm. And then, I mean, if you look at old black and white videos of, Klansmen, those were actually Democrats. Yep.
And Jacksonian Democrats.
Yeah. And the South was, they were very Democrats. Yeah. They opposed anti-lynching laws and stuff like that. But I think there's a lot of issues in America, and that's why you constantly see groups of people go left and right, etc. Yeah. And I think it's challenging. Like, I believe in the right to bear arms, but then I'm also believe that a woman has the right to do what she wants to do with her body. I think weed should be legal. And so a lot of times,
controversial topics here.
Yeah. Well, no, what I'm saying is with the political system,
throwing too much out for the crowd.
No. What I'm saying is if very few people fall completely neatly in one party or the other.
So why isn't there more people coming out and be like, I'm not voting for this person. I'm going to vote over here in my small community, which let them. Well, that's how he got voted in anyway, isn't it? Electoral college.
Well, because if you really think about it, if there were, let's say theoretically, there was 3 parties. Then you have the possibility of somebody getting 34% of the vote. And so you have over half of Americans that feel like their values are not represented.
Right.
In a lot of countries, A, they have multiple parties. And B, in a big party, for example, like our neighbors to the south in Mexico, presidents only serve 1 term. So they'll go in. They don't give a crap about their legacy. They're going to go in and they're going to take bribes and do all this crap. Yeah. And they don't have to worry about a re-election because they can't be re-elected. And so certain things is fantastic. Checks and balances ensures that nobody has too much power. And by being able to serve 2 terms, they have to make sure that in that first term that they are really, not making a mess. And also, trying to do the best so that they're the next man up in their party.
Trump 2020. Yes or no? Trump 2020. I'm bringing it up.
Was Trump like a table flip? Or was he an actual, like, I'm not being represented, he represents me?
Statistically speaking,
no way.
Yeah, 30% of people that no matter what, they're going to go right. 30% of people that no matter what, they're going to go left. Yeah. And then you have those people in the middle that are going to go, they really decide to vote. And over 6 million voters, people that voted for Obama, voted for Trump. And that's a fact.
Wow.
So, that's why even when it comes time to campaign, they're in the swing states.
Where do they get those numbers from? Polls?
I was going to say, I've never seen
imagine voting for polls that's reported after the election. But it's estimated over 6 million people that voted left.
in the last election. Voted for Obama, hope and change, and then they made MAGA.
So you didn't ask my question. Trump 2020?
Or
Andrew Yang?
No. I think that the left. All they have to, if they were able to put just a down the middle moderate candidate, it would be a slam dunk easy win.
Tulsi Gabbard?
But no.
Andrew Yang?
Now a lot of Americans are afraid of, legitimately afraid of socialism.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, they're too extreme.
A lot of them are too accepting of it, too.
And the reason I'm going to say that
how many people want socialism. We're scared of it. You probably scared of it,
I don't even know what socialism means.
Well,
they socialize everything.
That's why I feel like it's so important to read history. No, you can't make really a lucrative career out of history, but a lot of ideas that are in vogue now have been attempted in the past, and they didn't work. Give me an example of when socialism or communism has been really successful. Yeah. It doesn't really work. At the same time, I think there has to be a balance of course, when you have unchecked and unregulated capitalism, a lot of times the little guy gets hurt. So it's that middle ground. And this country wasn't founded by fickle men, and that's why we have our checks and balances to ensure that no one person has too much power. But how Trump is going to win, he's going to use those fears of socialism. Like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she has almost no power, but they continue to use her because she's so extreme.
Is she hot? You like her? She looks.
See, okay,
she's a New York Rican, bro. What else you want me to?
Bartender.
If we're gonna say attractive,
compared to the rest of the party,
no. That being said, I don't agree with their politics, but Ocasio-Cortez and the little Ilhan Omar, I can't pronounce her name.
Ilhan Omar,
yeah,
the anti-Semite lady.
She's anti-Semite.
Wait, which one? We're not talking about Elizabeth Warren, are we?
No, the Muslim lady. The Muslim
lady.
Yeah,
she is.
What's her name?
Ilhan Omar.
Ilhan Omar.
Yeah.
Ilhan Omar.
Yeah, she's a very pretty woman.
God, I put I-hand Omar.
Lord. But yeah, man.
Boomturn?
I mean,
huh? Oh, this is horrible audio.
Is it her? Is it her?
That is her. Yes.
Is it?
Lucy? Yeah.
Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she has some anti-Semitic remarks right in the middle of a fucking hearing.
No, she's
coy.
She thinks
it's cute.
She hasn't been. But
she thinks it's cute.
But
I'm here.
Here's some other things.
Freedom has gotten you.
It's
smack in the face.
interesting. So even if you are completely sided with one party or the other one, there's still people that squabble within the party. And she recently talked a lot about Obama, kind of saying that he had such a great reputation, but in reality, did he do that much?
Right.
And it's interesting.
Yeah.
And I think that the crazy thing about presidencies is a lot of times you don't really see the lasting effect until years after they're out of office. And with with Clinton, you see with unfortunately that crime bill and the effect it had on minority communities.
Obamacare.
And then with Obama, I wouldn't say with Obama. The Obama in 2010, I believe, allowing the Department of Education to essentially become the biggest bank by just giving out student loans like candy, making it as simple as it is, and not really educating people. So we have, right now,
so many homeless people with useless degrees too.
Well, no, right now, student loan debt surpasses auto loans and credit card. It's insane right now in this country.
It's not going anywhere. It's built into the loans itself. It tells you.
Yeah.
And past 90-day defaults.
But think of when we were younger. All these skilled jobs were being overlooked. It's like work smarter, not harder. And all that student loan is invested into useless shit that the scatter was, we can't work hard over here. So now our idea is to work smarter. So they just spread out into all these useless categories where people can't find jobs in those $100,000 or from $60,000 to $100,000 in debt for some random psychology degree, a liberal arts degree.
How many times have you heard our parents? I've even heard my mother say, I was able to work and get my degree, and but right now, if you look at how much an education costs, really.
Ridiculous.
How much? Yeah, home adjusted for inflation. If you look at home costs have risen, the cost of education is astronomical, and it's a business, man. It's not as easy as it was before. My grandfather got his PhD and raised a family of 5. That's pretty
pretty tough to do say. Yeah. Man, we're all over the place.
Do professors want to make? Do they want to make money, or do they get underpaid, kind of like teachers or professors make bank?
Well, I mean, it depends if it's a community college or, and that's the other thing that's so silly about education. All right, you guys familiar with sneaker culture? Right?
Sneaker culture?
Sneaker culture.
Yeah.
Like sneakerheads. Or even high fashion. Yeah. Right? So the more limited something is, the more it costs.
And the more crazy people go.
Yeah.
FOMO.
And and a lot of times higher education is the same way because these universities are harder to get into.
So it gets idealized.
Exactly.
Brought up on a pedestal.
And a lot of times these professors are more interested in their own research than what they're really if their students are learning or not. And I got my associate's degree at a community college, and then I finished my bachelor's degree at the University of Central Florida.
Yeah. And
I can say that the community college professors were so much better. I learned so much more.
They're more down to earth.
The classroom sizes were smaller. I mean, at a big university, getting to talk to your professor, I would literally sit in the front row, and then as soon as lecture was over, I would rush to the top to get a question into the professor. And I mean, if they had a few office hours, a couple times a week,
isn't it like a big room? It's a huge room.
Yeah,
with a bunch of kids.
I mean, if some of the classrooms reminded me of going to church, honestly. And the professor had a little microphone on.
Like Joel Osteen kind of church.
So what?
Are you sure you weren't at church?
No. My professors would let you in if there was a hurricane. But
oh man! Shout out to Joel Osteen.
It just got dark.
Oh, it did.
Dude, they're not. Another shout at them, or shame on them for not speaking out against this late term abortion.
On who?
Joel Osteen and all these big mega churches. They're not shouting down.
That's the thing, though.
These new laws of late term abortion.
Yeah, but see, all right, at churches,
skip over that one.
No, I'll say we skip over that one. I ain't touching that one.
Religion plays a big part in our elections in this country,
isn't it? Crazy how big.
Yet there should be a separation of church and state, and religions or churches. Sure, the correct term is they are tax exempt.
Yeah.
So, because of that, and I grew up,
they can wash all kind of money. What are you laughing at now, bitch?
You crack me up.
I'm just, for some reason, I'm just thinking China trade deal in the back of my head. Like,
man, that's what I'm saying.
I'm already on the next deal.
This guy's always got.
I just want opinions. Like, we finally got a guest on the iPad.
What's
on
your
the podcast.
On China trade?
I just want to know, like, with the latest. We haven't talked about it in the last podcast or anything. The China trade deal. Now I want to get your perspective, like, because you work in cell phones, it's going to have an impact on your job. So what do you see? Like, what are your thoughts on the China trade deal? Do we get a deal? Do we not get a deal? How's it going to affect your job? How's it going to affect your job? Like, let's debate it.
The prices are going to go up. Is that what you're saying?
I would assume they are, yeah, because actually, no, correction. That's if we don't get a deal. So what happens if we don't get a deal? We know it's going to affect.
And I'm no expert, but I understand that our economies are so tied together that it's in both of our best interests to kind of one hand washes the other and both hands wash the face kind of thing.
And gradually change or still keep doing what we're doing. It's not working.
Honestly,
we're at least the can until 2020.
In my experience, I mean, when you work in cell phones, what you're really selling is service to those phones, not the phones themselves. It's like if you run a gas station, your product is gasoline, not cars. But if Kevin or Aaron does not buy a car, then you're not going to buy any gasoline. So, I don't get paid more or less if somebody buys a flip phone or an iPhone. It's just, do you have service or not? But if you notice what Samsung did with the 10e and then what iPhone did with the 10R, which is, in other words, same processor. So people are already hip to the whole planned obsolescence game. So the better the processor, the longer the device will last you, as long as you don't physically damage it.
Right.
And I'm really surprised with the amount of people. They're like, yeah, okay, this one's got a better screen and camera. Oh, this same processor, this one will last me just as long. Oh, I'll take that. So I think people just want something that's going to work and last them a long time. So pretty much once they're done paying it off, they can keep using it.
Yeah.
Or they'll hand it to somebody else in the family.
Yeah.
Where do you think cell phone industry's headed in 5 years?
I think 5G is fascinating, scary, exciting. And if you look at what's happened with 1G, 2G, 3G, I mean, remember when texting first came around, how stupid it was?
Yeah.
And now it's its own language.
Yeah.
And people text more than they call.
5G's really it's going to be like
what it is
360 camera quality.
I think with
Skype, isn't it going to be like really good
5G's
face
more
chat?
5G's more the Internet of Things. It's not really
Right.
we're not really
speed.
gonna feel it as
already,
humans. You know, I mean, I know as humans our cell phones. We already get fast speeds as it is. Yeah, our speeds will be a little faster, but it's how our stoplights are going to communicate with our cars, that are going to communicate with the tablet.
That's
it's just
5G?
everything's 5G is about connecting the world. It's about having enough bandwidth to connect the world.
I think
Someone's got
across our
stock in
nation,
5G.
though, the problem is in certain areas they're so
Dude, we don't even got fucking
internet
4G.
is so much better than other parts that it's kind of have to kind of level the playing field, because certain parts of the country just basically just get left behind.
Yeah.
Just couldn't help but think about Donald Trump's comment. We don't even have a full 4G network. We're already pushing 5G, and Donald Trump's
6G.
already talking 6G.
Well, Tim Apple.
Come on, Tim Apple.
Tim Apple's going to get it done.
Space Force.
Yeah.
That's what's going to make 6G.
Okay, Kevin Appliance.
Kevin Appliance. Oh, man.
Tell me you seen the comment.
Automation. The comment?
Yeah, Donald Trump's comment. Tim Apple.
To who?
You haven't seen the
All right, so basically Tim Cook, who is the CEO of Apple, he was meeting with him, and he with a straight face, he's like, "Oh, thank you, Tim Apple."
So it's been the running meme on the internet for the last 2 days.
Oh my
Everybody's
God.
saying, "Oh, I guess we just got to start, instead of Jeff Bezos, Jeff Amazon and Bill Microsoft."
Just their business name after their first name.
Oh, hi, Aaron Stocks.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Danny Verizon over here.
Yeah, but going back to
And that's how we socialize our people.
I mean, I don't know if do you guys remember when those brick phones with Nokias came around?
Yeah.
And just having that ability to do that. And that's another thing I was talking with a friend of mine, how much life has changed. Even, I remember having to call a girl's house and knowing that the whole conversation at any moment, because somebody else can pick up on the house phone and listening.
Yeah.
And it was that much harder to talk to girls in those times. And now kids have it so easy.
Do you
now.
know what the rotary phone is?
Yes.
Yeah.
My grandmother had one, and it was actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
But
And
you know,
some of the phones back there were still mounted on
what
the
I'm
wall.
saying is, if you look at every generation,
cord.
something drastically changed. So with 1G, of course, you had mobile phones. That changed the game.
Yeah.
Then came texting, and that's became like its own language.
Yeah.
Don't forget AIM. Don't forget AIM. That's where I spent my 11 through 13.
Wait, Yahoo
Instant Messenger?
Yahoo chat rooms?
Yeah, remember
Yeah.
remember ASL, age,
I
sex,
remember
location.
Yahoo Pool.
And then I'd say
You could play
with
pool and then have a chat window at the
Yes.
same time. That was game changer
Yes.
number one for me. Like, this is a whole new world.
Yes, that was definitely not paying attention in class.
3G though,
What?
3G and how with the
Crazy.
first iPhone, that brought the internet in the palm of your hands anywhere you went. Maps. The pretty much have a
dial up in
GPS.
the palm of
And
your hand.
then with 4G, it became pretty much an all-in-one device.
Well, here's another question for someone. Where does it go from here?
Foldable phones.
Where does
that's
it
the
go
next.
from here? From a tile piece of hardware?
Well, I think
what does it turn into?
What's going to really be exciting isn't what they're going to do with the phones themselves, but the network. So if we have 5G,
No, I'm talking about the hardware. Where is this going to go?
It's shit.
well, with an improved network, augmented reality.
Like wearable hardware, or where is it going to
He's
go?
talking about the design. Like, what is it
Implants?
okay, obviously they're pushing foldable phones in
Unplug.
2019.
I
We're
think
talking-
and it's a testament to how good they are. I mean, the excitement for them isn't there anymore. I mean, you can only make
Right,
the
that's what I'm
cameras
saying.
so good. You can only make the displays so good.
So it's going to have to be a change from the tile piece to something
I don't
else.
think that's really necessary. I mean, they do little things that are honestly kind of gimmicky just to create excitement. And
like
the
the
foldable
watches,
phones,
like
piece
the
of shit.
watches and the.
Can't stand that. I think it looks like crap.
What?
Nobody debate me.
What?
I think both foldable phones look like shit.
I'll
How about
debate you.
that?
I
How about
I will
the
debate you on
Nivix
this. And I will
double-sided
say,
phone. That's cool.
The Huawei one, shit.
No.
The Samsung
I
one,
will
shit.
say. I mean, love you, brother, but
Foldable?
You're wrong on
You
this.
seen
one.
it? Look above the picture.
Yeah, he's
Like,
wrong on this.
What do I type in? Hold
Okay,
on.
I'll
You
take it
guys
back.
keep talking. What
The
do I type
Huawei
in?
one looks better than the
Is it
Samsung one.
Huawei or Huawei?
Wow, like whatever the fuck it is. The phone's shit. Like, it's just it's Chinese crap. I'm gonna go out there and say it. It's fucking horrible. Like if you see the crease, I mean, this is just seeing it in the videos. Like looking at the crease, like I just personally think I wouldn't pay $2,600 for a phone, especially
which one's edition. Real?
Oh God, this guy got like the concept art. It's like, yeah, this shit looks amazing.
No, I mean, early technology is always really expensive because it's so expensive to create.
Yeah,
when I was looking at the thing I looked at the most was the actual piece that clips together. So it opens and it closes. And you think if you're a user, you're going to open and close that thing. Probably thousands of times,
and probably little
and how will it hold up?
Yeah.
The problem when a new technology comes out is the same problem with consoles. You know, when the new PlayStation 5 and whatever they call the next Xbox comes out, there's no way in hell I'm going to buy it for like at least a year and a half, 2 years.
Right?
Why? Because the technology's there, but it takes several years to create a great game.
Yeah,
and so you have to have that that technology in the hands of great developers before. It's going to be really the juice is going to be worth the squeeze.
So they proactively
So they give dev kits out, but a lot of times it takes a few years for good games to be on a console. Right now, there are so many great games
for PS4.
Yeah, I mean it's.
What console do you play?
I have the Samsung. I have all of them.
Next one's the Huawei.
And you have all of them.
I have a PlayStation. I got PS4 Pro, Xbox One X, thanks to my buddy Bing, and I have a Nintendo Switch.
Do you PC game or no?
I do not. But
that's a nice phone. What I'm talking shit.
What I'm saying is with that foldable phone, the way it works is as soon as you open it up, the apps continue there. Every single app is going to have to cater to that, and there's not going to be enough of a user base. But I think stuff like that is going to drive innovation, though. You know,
it's going to.
How do you put a case on it? That's my first thing. Like,
oh, absolutely, incredibly impractical. God help you if you break one of the screens. You're not going to be able to take it to you break iFix. But what I'm saying is, I'm kind of going back to the Apple versus Android debate. Android innovates, Apple perfects. Will Apple eventually have a full device? Most likely, absolutely yes. Why? Because it's going to create excitement and people are going to come to buy it. Because we live in a consumer culture, but consumers like to be wowed.
Right.
My honest opinion, though, I have a 10s Max. I don't know what else, how you can improve it. Really,
you can make it square.
But you didn't you say that about the 8 when you had the 8 or the 7?
When
you held that 7, it's like, God damn, this is amazing.
It is.
I don't need anything else after this.
It's the Apple culture.
Yeah,
you always gotta have the latest and greatest.
But all of them do the same thing, which is they push updates, and so they'll have this next thing, and it appears so much faster, and they basically slow down the older versions.
They admitted that too.
And going back to
who exposed that? Your boy, the Apple guy, the review guy.
Are you talking about everything Apple?
Brownlee?
Oh no, that's Mark Brownlee.
Yeah.
And that's frustrating for me.
What's his channel name?
MKBHD.
MKHB. What?
MKBHD.
MKBHD.
Anybody that works in wireless will tell you that when customers come in and they feel like their phone is slowing down, they blame it on Verizon or AT&T or T-Mobile.
Oh, the network? They blame it on
the
network?
they blame whoever their carrier is. Yeah. And all we do is just, if your TV messes up, if you spend good money on a nice OLED TV and it starts giving out, you don't call Comcast or CenturyLink. You're like, hey, DirecTV, you bastards, why is my TV messing up? Like, we're just your provider. And so it is that's probably one of the few genuinely frustrating things about the job is you get a little, some blame. But the thing is, when you buy a phone, the manufacturer makes money.
God, I don't miss
not the company.
Days.
No? So they just basically just peddle this just to get the service out. Just to get, and entice people to get...
Yeah,
that's why they give phones away.
That's why they also
to get the lines.
That's why they finance them completely interest free. Like, it's pretty straight up. Like, you just take the day you get the phone and you just pay the taxes on whatever device it is, and it's just the price of that device spread over 24 months. You can finance a flip phone that's like $50 over 24 months, like $2 on your bill. Boom.
Oh my god.
And it's super flexible. Like, 30 days later, phone. And a month later, if you change your mind, you're like, well, I just want to pay it off in full. Yeah, you can do that. No penalty. Just straight up. Because all we really care about is just service to the device, because that's our brand.
So
we're not phone makers.
Is that your bread and butter? Is that your new lines?
No, just basically, grow them but keep them. Both are equally important,
But that's a big.
I still think the phones are shit.
The hard what?
They're shit.
Whose phones?
Both of them, the foldable phones. Like I was expecting more when I seen the keynote. I was expecting
expect more off the rip.
All right. I will say it is going to be
foldable. Give me more with a cheaper price.
If your job is to sell phones, not service, but phones, and build excitement, I think you can't argue.
Sell them an iPhone.
You think
it looks cool, but okay. The thing is, you never worked in the industry. I sold the first foldable phone. It was a Kyocera. You could look it up.
Yeah,
Kyocera, whatever.
Kyocera.
Yeah, dual screen phone. It was shit.
Yeah,
I agree. No, it is very gimmicky.
Well, it's 2019. What year was that?
Oh, that was like in 2010.
No, going back to what I was telling you, dude. You have any idea how practical it's going to be? Because no apps are going to support it. So the way it works is it's got the home screen, and then you flip it open, and then it boom. Yeah. It turns into like a mini tablet in your hand.
Right. All module. You can touch the
exactly.
Middle,
so like if you're watching Netflix or like they only demoed I think like a couple apps.
Can you touch that median or no?
Yeah, of course it is.
It works reactive.
Wow. Yeah, and then you can close it again. But
it looks a little ugly in some pictures.
Since most apps,
again, shit.
Since most
apps, I hate it. I hate it.
It's hard to overcome the hate.
Yes. Look. You want to know what it is,
bro? Calm down.
Look, this is where we need to go.
Get your hand in the pot. I don't see you in R&D, mister.
Listen. This is my R&D advice on the podcast. Record it. I remember the first Iron Man. Like, that's the next generation of cell phones to me. Make a glass phone.
Durable as shit phone.
No, glass. Like, I want like a hologram. Like a hologram phone. Like, fuck the fold.
Uh-oh. Oh, man, I'm bald.
Sorry, I have to like tell my wife why I didn't call her. And it's because I'm doing a podcast.
Just tell her you're in the studio recording. But yeah, honestly, that's where I see. I see like, or even... You look at like any of the latest Marvel movies where they just like project the phone out of their arm. Like to me, that's where we're gonna go. Like,
wearable. I mean, wearable? Here's the thing: we've already given up all of our privacy. Like when you really look at it, who the fuck reads in a user agreement? And we've given up
South Park.
Oh yeah. I mean, a lot of times you ever wonder how you get like emails, and it's like, man, how do they know? Well, whenever you use a credit or debit card, they sell your purchase history.
And your browsing history.
Yeah, now you can sell it yourself and get paid.
Can you?
You can. There's apps for that.
Well, you just use their apps.
I mean, they pay you shit money, but hey, you still making something.
The fact that they're going to have something in me, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, pretty much
what's the name of that, by the way?
With you all the time. But having something that's inside your view, I can't do that.
Oh, I forget it. What's the name of that app?
I just look it up. There's all kinds.
Oh, there's several.
I can't even think of the names.
Well,
basically, you just
a browsing app to sell your information to yourself.
You just sell your information and like okay, they're not going to advertise like they're like, give us your information. We'll give you $5.
What is this, an auction? How much you offer my social security number?
It's like you don't ever notice like, oh, upload your receipt, your shopping receipts, like shit like that. You know what I mean? Okay. That's all just data, bro.
I have seen some.
Oh, they do the gas pump things too.
I got the website. The Penny Hoarder.
Penny Hoarder.
The Penny Hoarder. So they.
How about Acorns?
Acorns, man. No, that's. Isn't that like Ashton Kutcher's thing? I think he that's actually a guy that appears to be a dumbass, but he's actually really smart.
Yeah,
he's really fucking smart.
And he volunteers a lot. You know, like he donates a lot, and he's
so did R. Kelly.
What a funny guy! Like a model, TV star, movie star, dated Demi Moore for a long time. Then she kind of lost her marbles.
Yeah,
and he kind of he exited away from it pretty gracefully, which is pretty
surprising.
But he's made some really smart investments. Yeah, man.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
Yeah, a
lot of these actors are like fucking A. They do so. They show you what money can do. It can work for itself. It doesn't. Well,
I mean, the opposites happen all the time. Look at Nicolas Cage. I fucking love Nicolas Cage. I was just rewatching some of his early shit before he went broke. He's awesome.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Now they could look at fucking Jessica Simpson.
Two-Face Face Off.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Yes.
But now look at Jessica Simpson. Jessica Simpson has a fashion line that's worth over $1 billion. Jessica Simpson's worth over $1 billion.
Billion?
Over $1 billion. Billion. All right. I was just shopping for maternity clothes for my wife, and boom, all the stuff was Jessica Simpson. You go to Target, you can find Jessica Simpson.
More than the Kardashians?
No. But I'm just trying to say, like, a lot of times people can appear to be, not the sharpest knife in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And that just goes to show you the difference between knowledge and intelligence. Just because you know about something, that's not intelligence.
Right.
So I might be super knowledgeable about mechanics, and you might be super knowledgeable about engineering.
Yeah.
Does that make either of us smarter than the other guy? No, it just means I'm more knowledgeable in this subject, and you're more knowledgeable in that subject.
That's why we always those two come together.
Yeah.
To make the magic. To make big money.
Yes, sir.
Man, you lost me.
No, I'm saying is a lot of times
sharing
people
ideas
really because you could talk to somebody and they might be like clueless on a subject, and you think, wow, that person's an idiot. And
they
it
just
means
listen
that
to
they
the
don't
talking
know.
points.
Then they don't know about what is you're talking about,
And they memorize these.
That means they're not
points.
knowledgeable.
Just interject, and you
people
could tell they're just throwing it in there like.
But people
vomiting all over the
that
conversation
with intelligence, you know.
Yeah. Oh man.
It also leads to people being overconfident sometimes, because they are so knowledgeable in whatever they're in, and so it gives them an overconfidence and think,
confirmation bias.
You know,
Everything they're using everything to confirm this.
Yeah, it's important to know what
have.
you know, but it's more important to know what you don't know.
Yeah.
That's a problem. A lot of people know what they know, but they don't know what they don't know. Tim Apple.
Tim Apple. That's a big meme. I haven't even seen it.
Oh, dude, you gotta look it up.
It's
hilarious.
I start weaning off towards the weekend, like off the phone, like social media. I try to stay wean off of it.
Well, Daniel, so I hate social
media. I hit up because I'm so sad on Monday. I just dive straight into social media.
I have to ask you guys. You guys are both parents. I'm gonna be a dad pretty soon.
Congratulations, man.
What age is it okay for you guys? What age are you okay with giving your child a smartphone?
Never.
Yeah. I wish I could.
Okay, you're eventually going to give her one.
Hey,
Never.
If you can't, don't.
All right. I'm going to transition to something else. So I saw social media, a lady, really cool idea. So when her daughter's friends come over, she's got a rule, and then all the girls' moms have a rule. Now, when you guys come over to play, there's a little basket, and everybody's phone goes in the basket. So when you guys are socializing, there's no phones. And
smart.
I thought that was really cool. I thought that was really, really cool.
I mean, it's no different than like, okay, this is the way I look at it. Now, this actually just kind of hit me for the first time. I remember growing up and when the Super Nintendo first came out, what was the first thing our parents thought? Oh my God, they're going to have Super Nintendo. I don't want them to have a Super Nintendo. They're just going to stay inside and play with their phones.
Do you ever start the kitchen timer?
Yep. We want them to play outside. Now, here we are.
Minutes or an hour.
Our generation, they don't want to play video games no more. Now it's just they come over and they're all on their cell phones like, oh, we just want to play outside. So it's just going to keep moving on to something else. Like the days of kids playing outside are just, unless you were forcing them and stuff, it's beyond that. Well, they rather play outside with each other in like a Wii world. Like, it's just the way it is.
Well, this is, I mean, history, there's every generation often thinks they're better than the next generation.
Yeah, we're definitely better.
And it's even crazy to think about, like, reading is viewed in such a positive light. Though obviously, reading isn't stigmatized. But for a time there, when it was, mass print, it was viewed as, you're always reading all the time.
Get your nose out of the books.
Exactly. Then when you had rock and roll and the radio and television, all these things.
Devil music down.
Yeah, and all of that, of course, was stigmatized. And now you have, gaming. Gaming is still stigmatized. I've had women,
is it really?
I've had women
it's upside down now, man. It's totally reversed.
No, I've had
women
women.
I know.
That will sit around watching hours and hours and hours. They'll sit on their butts and watch hours of terrible television.
Right.
And I'll spend.
Oh, my dad.
And that's a great point. My uncle, he spends hours watching shitty reality TV shows.
Yeah. Zoned out. Yeah. At least with video games, you're interacting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like for me, take the horror genre. I cannot stand horror movies because I put myself in the position of that person. And I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. I remember even when I was a kid. And I'm like, you know what? I don't care if I know I'm going to see one of their titties. I don't want to see this movie. This is stupid. Now, that being said...
I've recorded, an hour in, you get to see a boob shot.
Yeah.
I'm sitting through this movie. I don't care what's
fast forward.
Now, if you play a game like the OG Resident Evils, it's completely different. It's genuinely terrifying and entertaining because Silent Hill, Dead Space, you're in control now. You can't just sit back and criticize. You're in control of the character, and if something goes wrong, it's your fault. And I remember like playing that game and being tense, and it drew some like what no horror movie ever could, which actually kind of gave me
interactive, an interactive capability.
And what else can give you that kind of experience?
But kids make a not load of money just playing video games with a little microphone and a headset.
Well, we're
content, baby.
With a little green screen backdrop.
With the internet and the world, and we take so many things for granted.
Yeah.
The fact that how interconnected our world is with travel, being able to go back and forth the way we can now, and what we're still discovering more and more things that we can do with the internet.
We're going to Mars.
And improved. And
going to Mars?
We're going to Mars.
Let's go to Mars.
Let's go to Mars. Following Elon.
Elon's shooting rockets at Mars.
You guys are both dads. So eventually when if we ever do decide to colonize Mars, it's a one-way trip. There isn't you're going to go to Mars and you're going to come back. Could you do that? Could you go and know that you're never going to be back on Earth again?
No, because I know where the science is now. And in my lifetime, it's not going to be capable.
No, we are going eventually that we have the resources. We will believe that we can send somebody from Earth to Mars, but it's a one-way trip. In other words, you're going to go. I'm asking you guys because you got.
I'm not leaving. I'm staying on Earth.
I always thought about that. I'm like, you know what? Damn, man, we still struggle to make like buildings and shit here. Like, how the fuck are we gonna make buildings that are we gonna have to like transport like steel to another planet, or are they gonna have some other type of...
First, it has to be terraformed. So you have to throw a bunch of stuff out
there.
But
the bottom line is
try to stimulate that ground to grow.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So it's years. We could start the...
We said that about cell phones. It only took 7 years to destroy the world.
Yeah, I mean, we take for granted...
Is the world destroyed with cell phones, Aaron?
Absolutely. Goddamn. Fried, bro. Come on.
Someone's very bitter. A bitter bear here, man.
Sorry, I'm real anti-cell phone with this whole foldable thing lately.
Yeah, I really feel this.
I just don't know where it's gonna go from here.
It's terrible.
From the tile, the tile. This piece.
You know what it is? I'm unhappy. This is what it is. I'm an unhappy Apple user as of lately, and he can tell you this. It's the first time I don't own Apple's latest iPhone.
But they're just
nobody bats 1,000.
They're just changing little features here and there. They're not.
But Apple does. When you got $1 trillion sitting.
The only reason I have a new phone is because the hookup, man. Because the deals and the Black Friday.
Oh, of course, that's the best time to get the phones. Honestly, if you're gonna shop, it's the best time to get a phone.
No, but that's the only reason I have the new phone is because of the deal. But I don't see it going any. As long as it takes pictures and I can go browse the internet. I don't know what else there is.
Social media.
I mean, other than like a wearable device, what's next? Is it going to be like a peel and stick you're going to put on your wrist and scroll through it?
Probably.
Like a wearable.
It's going to be an Apple Watch.
Clear screen thing
with like a mega ultra screen with a hologram.
Or is it going to be like a contact lens you put in your eye?
I don't know.
What's Neuralink that Elon Musk was working on?
We might have to Google that one. I don't know.
No. Oh God! Speaking of Elon Musk, so have you guys seen
the
video of not one but two different Tesla drivers completely zoinked out, going 70 miles per hour down the highway?
Automated driving, just taking them down the road.
I gotta admit, man, if I was going down Alligator Alley.
You would just press that button and way back. There's one guy in stop and go traffic, and he's zonked out like this, and it says stop and go traffic, and people have it on Snapchat. This guy's passed out. His car is driving.
Does he have a feature to wake you up?
It's gonna stop, and people are gonna honk at you. That's what happens.
Can know. I mean, realistically, if you know, for example, if I'm going, once a month I got to drive all the way down Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
And if I know if I'm going 70 miles per hour, approximately how long it's going to take me, you could just set an alarm for 25 minutes. And just take a 25-minute power nap, chilling down the road, and
deer.
It's gonna stop for it. I bet.
Probably.
I bet you.
Honestly, but you know what the crazy thing is? Have you actually seen a video of the Model 3? Like what everything it can actually do?
It's crazy. How is it only? Is it 35,000?
Yeah. It starts.
It can take you from one address to another, like completely.
I just don't understand. Like, how is Elon like the technology in that car? In my opinion, is about 10 years ahead of all these other car makers. Like, I mean, we've talked about this before. You go to, like, look at it. You can get a 2018 or 2019 now, probably 2020 freaking car now, and it's their top of the line with a massive 12-inch touchscreen, and they're still using touchscreen technology from like 7 years ago.
And it's like
it's real finicky. Doesn't work.
Touch.
You can't do shit.
Yeah.
But this car, like, dude, that car can map out other cars, the cars that are passing you.
Yep.
Drives itself. You know what? This brings me to my topic.
It's
this is where I think,
insanely fast.
Yes,
insanely.
It's
fast.
modular. I think that's the way technology needs to go. Like that car, even look at the one for anybody who bought it in 2013. They still get the latest updates that get all the newer stuff, so they don't have to go buy a new car. But Tesla's still making money off of them upgrading the features in a car that's 7 years old. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, look at how. If you remember, like going into a computer store, how like the technology was there, but it was just too much junk. And Apple, or I should say,
there's a lot of different hardware to deal with.
Steve Jobs simplified it, and he really just completely disrupted the industry with he didn't come up with the first smartphone, but he perfected it. Yeah. He didn't come up with the first tablet.
That's gonna be Tesla.
But he perfected, and he basically. Going back, I feel like Elon with cars, and going back to what I was saying earlier about cell phones, they're in the business of selling phones. All right, car companies are in the business of selling cars, so the technology is there. But every single year, they just have to come up with a little gimmick to try to drive you to the parking lot. I saw a commercial for a truck, and the selling point was the little thing that goes down.
The tailgate.
The tailgate can do different things. I'm like. All right. I mean, you gotta put something out there for the new model. Hey man, look what this tailgate can do, bro.
Six-way tailgate.
And then the commercial is everybody holding their normal tailgates, singing nah. Hey.
That's what my dad told me. Yeah.
I was like, good God. So Elon's like, we have all this technology. Fuck it.
He said himself, he opened up a lot of, not all of his patents, but a lot of his patents. He said, if you could do it better than us, do it, because that's what he's here to do. He's here to bring attention. That's why he's such a star. That's why he's bringing so much attention.
Yeah, like much
smoking weed on the fucking Joe Rogan podcast. He's doing
oh my God.
To get attention.
The fact that
any news is good news, or any press is good press.
I find it so funny that weed for a long time was demonized because it was a gateway drug. And we have the
cops are still saying that.
We have the weed in the stock market
epidemic that we have right now. And basically, we have a heroin problem in this country.
Yeah.
And Fentanyl. It isn't marijuana that's causing it. It's people that will be prescribed painkillers, and they need.
The legal way.
Yeah. You fell down, you hurt your back, your doctor prescribed you some Vicodin, you get hooked, and then you graduate to heroin or fentanyl, And obviously it's a gross oversimplification, but that's what's happening. If you talk to a lot of people that ended up addicted to these drugs, it started with their doctor prescribing them some pain meds.
Opiates.
Yeah. And even with the NFL now, I mean, one of the biggest, a big star player from the Dallas Cowboys said, I quit the NFL, and he's doing it while he's smoking a joint. He's like, we're giving him all these terrible pills because it's a freaking pill factory.
Yeah.
And why is it still stigmatized? What was the genesis of this particular drug being made illegal in our country? And I'm a huge weed guy myself, but I think if you're okay with tobacco, if you're okay with alcohol, why on earth are you not okay with this?
There's a prohibition for
so
alcohol
too.
Next.
There was
a prohibition for alcohol when alcohol was illegal. Remember that?
But marijuana's the only drug.
Yeah, I remember that like it was yesterday. No,
my grandbaby.
It's kind of like a prohibition. There was like a prohibition on marijuana, and it was starting back from the paper companies.
I'm 32 years old, man. I mean, if I start getting arthritis and I'm getting inflammations, if I'm getting inflammation, and I could have this and it's going to help me with that, or if I have pain,
I take it for anxiety. Which main reason I take it for at night helps me sleep. Helps me sleep at night, but it's also like an anti-inflammatory. It helps my stomach pain,
but it's still stigmatized.
Even though it's medical.
A lot of states have. I'm like, Mom, I was born in Michigan. It's legal now. I'm good, man. I still got my
cafecito,
my cafe. I mean, there's so many laws that are still gonna have to be changed. I mean, you see it with sports, even employers. Like, if I could bust my ass on my job right now,
stigmatized at work.
Of course, most employers if I
didn't even tell my job.
If I get hurt, I'm saying if you
like, what, he's driving.
You can be in a state. You can be in a state.
Yeah.
Where it is completely legal, recreational use is legal, but if you get injured on the job, all right.
Oh God.
And they will to do your little workers' comp claim.
You get fired?
No, they drug test you.
Right.
If you do before you do workers' comp claim, and if you test positive for marijuana, they will deny your claim. So that's
why? Because they can't prove when you were under the influence?
There's more laws that need to be changed.
Wow.
And it's going to take a long time before it's all sorted out. I just think it should be, made legal at the federal level.
Yeah.
And
so you're telling me to short the marijuana industry?
Not right now. Buy as much as you can. Like everybody else is. Aren't they flooding the market?
They are.
Sir, stock a lot.
Sir, stock a lot. Oh, I fucking love it.
How is the stock market?
It's amazing, bro. It's amazing. Oh, actually, a week ago it was amazing, and everybody would think we're going to new highs, but we had a major pullback because we had 5 negative days. So.
Do you pull anything over the weekend, like from Friday to Monday?
Yeah, I always try to carry 1 to 2 positions over till Monday.
Yeah,
because you always have that what if, because China market starts trading Sunday night, and they either go like super crazy on Sunday because it's technically their Monday, or
so as soon as they start talking about the China trade deals, it affects the market like someone's just tickling the ass end of a horse. And
I don't know how much longer. I don't know how much longer Donald Trump can get away with his little China tweets, but fuck it. Hopefully he gives us one more push.
Isn't it crazy that little Twitter statement can
what did we talk about last time? What were we talking about last time that we got real a debate going? It was about social media.
Did we talk about Jesse Smollett?
Oh yeah, the fact that he's getting 16
Did we talk about him or no?
Yeah. Oh god, you guys ever read that book called Blink?
No.
And it basically the whole have you ever
How
heard,
long is it? A big book?
No, it's a fantastic read. But you've heard when you're taking a multiple choice test, you're usually like your first guess is usually the right one. Right. And I don't know if you've ever when they give you back your test and you review your answers, you'll go back and like, oh god, I knew it was B or C. I knew it, and then I second guessed myself. Anyway, when you were the one that told me about that story, and I was like, oh god, my initial reaction was how horrible, but I was like, wait a minute, it's Chicago. And then when you told me that the attackers told him it's Trump country, and I'm like, it's Chicago. It sounded like my gut was like, this sounds like complete bullshit. And it was. And I remember even talking to my roommate, and I was like, dude, this story is complete horseshit.
And he still had the noose around his neck when he was when the cops came.
But he still had his cell phone, and there's video of him still with the subway. I mean, it was complete complete BS. Chicago has cameras everywhere, but
he paid those actors to do that for
some Nigerian bodybuilders. One of them was even an extra on the show, which is hilarious.
On the show,
yes.
What's the name of that show?
Empire. And I know it because this guy's wife is a lover of these type of television shows.
Empire.
Oh man.
So did that controversy stir any Subway stocks or any?
Yeah. The fact that they're down for like 8 weeks in a row now.
Is that a Netflix show?
Which
Empire?
one? Empire? No. Oh, you can see it on Netflix now.
Right,
but
not the new stuff. You have to watch that on DirecTV or something.
Not even local channels. Fox local channel. It's a local channel news. Man, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of the topic that we talked about last time. It was about social media. Something to do about Twitter. Oh yeah, here we go. I'm curious, Danny, your outlook. Okay, so if you had to choose out of the social networks, we know there's Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter. I feel like I'm missing one out of the top 5.
Whoa.
Say them again.
You got Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter,
LinkedIn. I'm just kidding.
LinkedIn.
You can kind of
Foursquare?
No.
YouTube?
What do you
Reddit?
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Reddit?
In your opinion, obviously yes, we know Facebook's like cash king right now. We know Instagram's technically making more money than Facebook.
Both owned by the same company.
Yeah. Then you got Snapchat, which is owned by, then you got Twitter. Thoughts on all 4 companies, and where do you foresee them in the future? Like, who do you foresee? Who do you think we could get rid of if we had to, and who's going to stick around? What are your overall thoughts? And you too. Let me open that up for you.
Facebook, man. I mean, Facebook is so epically annoying.
What's your favorite though? Which one's your
Twitter,
favorite?
man.
Twitter's your favorite.
Dude, I'm telling you,
Twitter's the only spot where it's.
I've called it every time.
You do a lot of interactions.
Comment section, it feels real, man.
You do a lot of interactions on Twitter.
No, but I mean, it's great for catching immediate news. You can get so many different points of view, and you can follow independent content creators.
Oh yeah,
and so you get a very unbiased people that are kind of down the middle.
Echo chamber,
except for crypto,
maybe.
But
crypto
no, I
Twitter's
mean with Facebook,
it's a Wild West, huh?
It really is.
Like how it is when you're at a job. and you gotta act a certain way. It's like when you go to the bank or you go to church, you have to be
fuck that.
very sterile.
That's not happening
And that's
anymore.
how it feels with that. And of course with Facebook, honestly, there's just so much fake outrage and people getting offended over things that aren't really that I think if people are being really honest, aren't really that offensive, and it's just very annoying.
Yeah.
And even going to politics, in this country it tends to go 8 years left, 8 years right. You got 8 years of Clinton, you got 8 years of Bush, you got 8 years of Obama, you're probably going to get 8 years of Trump. But then people torment each other on Facebook. They'll constantly when Obama was president, yeah. And then now you have all the Trump supporters tormenting, their left, their left-leaning friends. And then of course when, Trump's over, then you're going to have probably another 8 years of a Democrat, and they're going to continue to torment the other side.
The Democrats really so far left right now, though. The Democrats are crazy. They're They're letting that anti-Semitic comments from that Ilhan Omar lady, just let them fly.
Going to.
So I'm saying Trump 2020.
A lot of it
he's gonna win.
A lot of it is being controlled by or is being used by the right. And at the end of the day, politics is about stoking the emotions of the everyman.
Yeah.
And if that's something that people fear, because look at Venezuela right now, and you've had a lot of Democrats that have, but when the economy was booming over there because of oil, oh, look at this shining example. You had Bernie Sanders, God, idiot. I'm sorry. I can't do basic math.
It's okay, Tim Apple.
It's okay, Tim Apple.
I'm not saying Trump is smarter. I'm just saying Bernie's a bonehead. Yeah. And I mean, he's even made comments on Cuba. He's like, look at the free healthcare. And someone's gone to Cuba multiple times. I'm like, oh, dude, no, that's not good.
Someone told me that the companies over there, like a restaurant in Cuba, they have they can only put on the menu what the government says they can put on the menu.
Yeah,
they can only make so much money. Once they make so much money, they have to close on Thursday, and then they can't even be open on Friday because they already made.
The crazy thing is, unless you're in a very highly super.
Is that socialism?
Well, there is when you take out, tips.
Yeah.
Not necessarily tips, but
capitalism.
If you don't pay somebody enough money,
yeah.
There's no service there. Like this type of service that you're used to here, it's just basically non-existent there, and you see it everywhere. I went to go buy it. There is no fast food. But when I went to go buy a TV, it's common for workers to be super laid back,
rude.
You go to a place, not rude, but just they don't really care because they're not really getting paid.
Right.
Kind of like what happened remember Circuit City?
Yeah.
Best Buy. So Circuit City used to give their employees commission if they did sales.
Yeah. And
they took it away. And it went from being a place where you'd walk in and I want to help you find whatever you need to, what are you looking for? I think that's down that aisle somewhere. Because no matter what, I'm just here till this certain time. And if you're happy or not, my check is going to be the same.
No incentives to do better.
And they went under. And Best Buy triumphed. Yeah. So
Best Buy is still banking, huh?
Best Buy is still a beast.
Yeah.
Even their stock.
So...
Really?
Yeah, they make a killing. They make a killing on little chucheria, like what we call in Spanish chucheria, just random little accessories and little knickknacks everywhere. There's a little bit of everything when you go in there.
Do you guys? Does Verizon and did they have just reps that work inside that store selling?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but what's cool about Best Buy, so the big department stores like Macy's, Dillard's, JCPenney, it's 2 for 1 because they have they sell washers and dryers and they sell clothes and they're trying to do too much.
That's what it was.
What?
But Best Buy does just electronics.
I know.
So even though it's big store,
but they got everything related to it too.
But it's just that. It's just electronics, and they find their niche. And stores that have done well is if it's just jeans, people love it because they're not overwhelmed. They feel like they can find whatever it is they're looking for. When I go to a Best Buy, I don't have a feeling I can't find what I'm looking for. Yeah. If I go to a Macy's or a Dillard's, it's oh God, where the fuck is this? Or where the fuck is that? Where's the men's section? It's too much shit everywhere, and it's fucking confusing.
Yeah.
Now, on the flip side of that, I'll play devil's advocate with myself. Look at what Costco does. Costco intentionally, they have certain staples. You're always going to have your super cheap bananas and milk and rotisserie chicken. That's how they're going to get your ass in the store. Yeah. But they actually try to create almost like a treasure hunt where they'll have something random there, and next time you come around, it's not going to be there. Yeah. And so a lot of times when you're there, it's ooh, I don't need this, but if I don't get it, it's not going to be here next time. Yeah. Even their clothing, they always have like clothing in the middle, and it's not going to be there next time around.
It's like a Goodwill.
Basically, yeah.
It's like a new version of Goodwill. What was that? What did you remember before you forget again?
No, about remember we talked about Amazon, like thoughts on Amazon like business. Like, what are your thoughts on retail? Like, we've had all these closings. Sears is the next.
I think everybody should just adapt that
like malls.
Concept.
Adapt that concept.
Like Walmart is taking it on full on. They got the pickup, they got the online shopping, they got in-store pickup.
I'm gonna disagree with you guys a little bit in that. I think when you go to mall going, like, when you go to mall, you usually have like the four corners are like these big department stores.
Yeah.
And then in the middle, you have all these shops.
Yeah.
And even in their intersection, a lot of these shops, like places like kind of like Express, for example. Well, their quality went to shit. But just using that as an example where it's just a specific type of thing. Or if you go into a store like Lucky Brand.
Yeah.
I love their jeans.
Oh, yeah.
You go there, you get some T-shirts, some jeans, but mainly it's just jeans. And so people like places like that where you can go and it's a specific thing. And I'm not going to buy that crap online because I don't know if you guys, maybe it's just me, but I can go to a place and I can buy a medium and a large and they both fit me right. But sometimes, I think I'm a large. I put it on, it's way too big. So I guess in this particular brand, I'm a medium, and another one, I'm an extra large. And
so you have to try all that
and then when you're looking through stuff online, it's not like I'm going to be able to really see how it fits on me.
So clothing has got a pretty good market.
Yeah,
so got it being storefront, but he's talking about everything else.
But
right?
But
everything else kind of collapses.
Yeah, like just even malls in general. Like, but if you don't adapt, like you look at like Macy's and all these, and like JCPenney's, for instance, like they're just doing shit. They're doing worse. Like their numbers keep getting worse.
JCPenney's gotten. Has JCPenney kind of came up since Sears has taken a dive? Because Sears is going to be gone in
short term. It was like a short term dip.
Yeah.
I just think that I really think these companies could have done better. I just don't think they truly embrace it. We were talking about
they're
it. Like
old names. They're gonna.
Well, they're old school. Look at Sears. Sears started off as a magazine.
It's a lifespan. Some things have a lifespan.
This goes back to what I was talking to somebody about. So, what are your guys' opinions on CEO salaries? Because one thing you hear over and over and over and over again is when a company like, for example, what happened right now with Activision, the company that makes fucking Call of Duty. It was a powerhouse, and they had a record quarter, and yet they laid off a bunch of people. And everybody's pointing the finger at the CEO. And what people fail to realize is the reason why CEOs get so much goddamn money is you see, because of course when a company's doing great, it's easy to be like, really, dude, why are you paying this one asshole so much money? But how many companies have you seen completely shit the bed? Blockbuster Video could have done what Netflix does. They scoffed at it. And they had, the most important thing is, Blockbuster was a name everybody knew. If Blockbuster had transitioned to content creation and DVDs in the mail, everybody would have flocked to it, and it would have been amazing. And they could have shuttered their stores and still had, Blockbuster could have been Netflix, creating their own shows and all this other stuff. But their CEO scoffed at it. The CEO of Toys R Us fucking shit the bed. This guy used to tell you how bad
what a CEO Toys R Us missed. Amazon?
Their website. I mean, it was multiple things, but number one, they trained their own companies to use Amazon.
A web presence, basically.
That's but their website was unintuitive. It was hard to shop there. It was just simpler to use Amazon. And even for a lot of their online pickups, they would basically have their users use Amazon. Yeah. So they trained their own goddamn customers.
So it's just old ancient mentality. It's just
but
non-accepting.
CEOs, their job is to look at not just what they're doing now, but kind of try to predict what's going to happen next. And
they did a terrible job.
Some of them do a great job, though.
Some of them did, yeah.
Some of them do a great job, and that's the crazy thing is, it's super easy to attack any individual CEO when things are going great for a company, but when it fails, it's like, oh man, you can begin to see why you can begin to see why these guys get paid what they get paid.
Because it's such a big price tag to put on.
Yeah, I mean, if you are a shareholder in a company and you have a huge stake in a company and you have a lot of skin in the game, and okay, you have someone that you know is good, and you believe that this person can direct this ship or captain this ship, and somebody else is willing to pay him $10 million. Well, you know what? I'm gonna give you $12 million to stay here, and that's how these guys
get those.
That's how these guys get paid what they get paid. You know,
but they talk so limited, don't they? Like they can't have like a open opinion. Aaron's falling asleep during the podcast.
No, I'm scratching my thing. I've got a cut here.
You got it. I should have snapped it.
I think we've gone. I think we've gone a little too deep.
Yeah, what were we talking about just now? Exactly.
We've gone all over the place, but we started talking about how big stores, and so if you look at JCPenney, you could argue if they had a better CEO, a lot of these places had better leadership.
They should have just followed Instagram, dude. That was like the Cash King. Like there was, I forgot what article I read about it.
Just put ads on it.
Yeah, like the fact that they just didn't embrace, like for instance, like kind of like you said, you walk into some of these stores.
Whose decision is that? That is testament to
bad CEO. They just
exactly, and that's why like, and I'm only saying this when you hear people, and I'm not trying to be heartless to people that get laid off or stuff like that,
right?
Or try to be maybe left or right leaning, or I'm not trying to make a political statement.
Right.
I'm just saying when you often hear CEOs get criticized for their ludicrous salaries, but you can see when you see companies that in our lifetime were amazing, fucking Toys R Us, man,
shutting down,
dude. I'm so pissed off because I at least wanted one time where I get to go to Babies R Us, and I've got a baby born, and I never got to go to Babies R Us, you know. And
or say Toys R Us to the kids in their faces.
You know what it's going to be like? I'm going to have to tell my daughter, hey, you know those 6 or 7 aisles at Target? Imagine if the whole store was that. Yeah, that was Toys R Us.
Yeah.
You know? But, I mean, on the flip side,
I'd be like, dude, what are you talking about? I could just order a freaking Barbie in one day Amazon Prime.
It'll be here this afternoon by drone.
Then again,
like, dude,
people are having less kids. And all kids want are fucking tablets. I saw a video of kids that got handed Game Boys, old school Game Boys, and they just completely disregarded the buttons and just kept tapping the screen. Like, what's wrong with this thing? Why isn't it working?
Oh my god!
We know it's funny because and look, this is what he's gonna have to realize, and what like his daughter's gonna have to go through is, man, I don't know what I'm trying to think now. What exactly happened this week where I'm like, holy shit! Like this is the shift in generations. Where we talked about it. I forgot what podcast we talked about it, but it's like the next generation, which is our kids, they don't know what it is. They're not going to know what it is to have to be patient. Like everything for them is going to be on demand. Like, Dad, let me show you this movie. Boom, instantly on demand. Like our generation grew up having to wait 2-day rentals, 5-day shipping. Everything is just
and more reading. Remember before we had Google or search engines for researching a topic, you had to go in an encyclopedia or go to the library,
the neighbor,
or go ask the neighbor. Go ask the old guy. That would a lot of times be reluctant to tell you anything.
It's so crazy how it can
mind your business.
You know, if I look at like my dad, or like your dad, and just simple act of actually hooking up with a girl, because how much more challenging it is to date a girl, because getting past the parental guardian, it was so much more difficult back in the day, because how do you communicate with a girl? Now it's so much easier where it's not even really worth bragging about compared to how it was
around
before.
The parent and just
now you have dating apps for everything. It's so much simpler now. And that's just one thing that's changed.
No, it's harder.
No, I'm saying no. Like, man, we got daughters.
Like,
I don't even want to think about it.
I have one on the way. I'm just. Maybe that's a terrible example. I am sorry. You guys both have 2 daughters. I have one on the way, so I'm joining the club. But
I think it's going to be better though. It's like if it's going to be harder to be private, which if you have to just take that acceptingly, like you have to be like, okay, there's no more privacy, so then it's going to be easier to catch the people that are causing malintent to others, you know, like or
we're also getting better
causing harm.
With there's
like bam, there they are. It shines the light right on them.
More technologies
going to have to be real.
The problem though with this generation, so if you think about it, there was literally decades in this country's history where there really wasn't much change. If you look at the average American home, what new technology was introduced between, say, the 30s all the way up to like the mid 70s?
Color TV.
Like, I mean, TV's changed a bit, but at the end of the day, up until the 80s, it was just 3 channels.
So there was more kids.
That was it.
The only channels you had were
you didn't have to really learn a lot, though. Is what I'm trying to say is you had an oven, you had a refrigerator, you had a TV with a few basic channels, and that was it.
Do you think there was more? Do you think there was more community back then?
Community or sex? What are we talking? We're trying to get at? 'Cause definitely sex.
No.
More back then?
I'm not.
Hell
you guys are missing completely what I'm trying to tell you. Is because now, in this age, we had an explosion of technology.
Yeah.
And we're already accustomed to keeping our minds open for change.
Right.
And a lot of times, you love, and in my job, I'm always dealing with older people that, my age, and I'm just not good with this tech stuff.
Yeah.
But that's because, in their defense, they went decades of their lives where nothing really changed.
Yeah.
Literally nothing changed.
Yeah.
And we just see what happened with personal computers and then iPods and then cell phones and then.
Wireless printers, wireless this, wireless that.
And our children are already used to that.
Yeah.
And so we
security
got away
being
with,
so much easier.
A lot of kids today are getting away with murder as far as being able to sneak around their parents with technology.
Yeah.
Your guys' kids aren't because you grew up with the same shit.
Yeah.
So you're going to be one step ahead of the game. Even with driving now, you're going to be able to put boundary limits on the vehicle.
Right.
You're going to be able to know if they go 80 miles per hour, boom, you get an alert to your phone.
Probably going to drive themselves. The car's going to drive itself. I'm
Possibly,
going to know if she wanted to drive manually. What are you driving manually
we already
for?
We already have the technology to put boundary alerts. So if they're at a certain place at a certain time, you can know where they are. You can put speed boundaries. All this. I'm not trying to say
this isn't a hum. Wait,
I'm not trying to.
This is not. We're not endorsed by Verizon. Clear disclosure.
Isn't hum built into the phones that they're on?
I was freaking you guys out a little bit earlier before. And what's crazy though is I was saying that it's and to the point I was trying to make though is as crazy as it sounds, kids in this generation are actually having less sex than the one before.
Really?
Of course.
Yeah.
What?
But
porn?
okay, so
what's doing it?
Think about it this way. Think about it this way, Kevin. When did you drink more? When you were underage and it was that forbidden fruit?
Oh, yeah.
And because it's so simple now, it's like, okay. But for your dad and my dad, man, getting your dick wet was hard.
We talked about it. Like, we talked about it how you remember, like, our generation grew up with, like, man, I'm turning 15. Like, if I don't have a car by the time I'm 15 to go to my girlfriend's house, I'm never going to get laid.
You had to approach the girl. Now you can just go on your phone and just swipe left.
You can just be like, just snap me some titties.
You know what? You've never done that, right? What? Have you done that? Swiped right, swiped left? No. Dating kind of?
I did use Twitter. I will say this about Tinder.
But I've never used it.
It's so annoying.
I'm kind of glad that
a lot of, at least in my experience when I was in Orlando,
everybody swiped left.
A lot of girls will hit you up so fucking late. It'll be like 11:30, and you'll have, an attractive woman hitting you.
It's like porn on demand.
What?
Yeah, like you'll have like a complete stranger hit you up when you're like half asleep. And it's like, oh, and you have to try to be funny and all this crap.
Yeah.
And
see if it's worth the Uber.
Yeah.
Was Uber much existent up there when you were up there or no?
Oh yeah, Uber was super bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't use it much because I'm not much of a drinker. But
have you ever seen like the bad Uber encounters on YouTube? It's fucking hilarious. I went down a wormhole of them the other day. Just people being like, some lady got in a car and then she canceled the ride to try to like get a free ride somehow.
Do you guys ever?
And he's like, I saw what you did. You canceled the ride. Get the fuck out of my car. You think you're slick? I'm like, damn.
Do you guys ever get up really early because like, oh man, I'm gonna be fucking productive. I'm gonna get my ass up. I'm gonna go to the fucking gym. I'm gonna kick my own butt and then I'm gonna do all this stuff. Before I do that, I'm just gonna watch a quick YouTube video. And you fall down a wormhole, and you're like, oh, I guess I'm not going to the gym.
Yeah. That's what Facebook used to be, and then I got on Facebook.
Yeah, that's why I got on Facebook, too, because you'll have a video, you'll look at one thing, and it just keeps...
You'll start off with, like, a Goldcast video, like, yeah, I'm fucking energized, to then,
all
like,
that stuff in
a guy getting freaking shot off a building or something. Like, whoa, what the fuck? This went left. Like,
yeah, it'll suck
crazy.
you down. It'll absorb your time.
Yep.
Is there a way to tell the screen time on this phone? Like how much screen time?
I'm pretty sure there's apps and stuff. But
you guys want to play a game?
It's not built in.
Who has
like
the most screen
Apple.
Time?
It's not built in.
Oh, it's not built in.
That's
in between you guys then. Who has the most screen time?
Oh, bro, definitely. This guy watches all porn.
It's a game. It's a game right now. Go.
No,
go.
I might win. Before I go to sleep.
Who do you think's got less screen time?
I got him beat.
You got more screen time?
I got him beat. Guaranteed. Let's see.
Like you're proud of it?
No, it's because I use my phone like a madhouse. All right, what do you think here real quick? What do you think's my most
I don't know what your screen is. I don't know.
Hold on. Screen time. Here we go.
I gotta use the bathroom real quick.
Last 7 days. Oh, I don't. What's your average per day?
I'm gonna find out right now.
I'm actually down 14% from last week.
Well,
Holy
mine's
shit.
gonna be out of whack because a lot of times before I go to bed, I'll put like a YouTube video because I like white noise in the background.
Well, just see what it says. What's the last 7 days?
Downtime, app limits, always loud.
You gotta hit screen time. You gotta select your name at the top under screen time.
Oh God, I feel like one of my customers. You happy with my email?
Right. Ooh, he's not gonna guess this. This is actually pretty crazy. There's almost a tie here between my top 2 apps. If you had to guess, just guess. What do you think my number 1 app used?
Your number 1 app is Twitter.
Oh, you fucking good.
Oh God, 80% up from last week.
Your second one is
it's all Netflix. It's all mine's out of whack because of Netflix. Because I put Netflix. I put Netflix on before I go to sleep, and I just
do you listen to podcasts on Netflix?
I absolutely do.
Yeah,
but I'll put like I'll put like one of those.
Oh, what's your other one?
I'll put those nature shows on.
You have a lot on YouTube or no?
Yeah, it's all Netflix, man.
All Netflix, huh?
Yeah, it's really high, but I'm not actually looking at it.
Background noise.
Yeah, I'll watch like Blue Planet, and it's very peaceful and has like a.
Who's that? Will Smith's voice?
No, I like Morgan Freeman. It's always like some nice British guy or something like that.
Oh, This Strange Rock.
This Strange Rock.
Will Smith.
I've been falling asleep to that for like the last week.
That's Will Smith, right?
Yeah, I'll watch like the first 5 minutes and then I'm dead asleep.
I get more notifications than you, but you pick up your phone about 20 times more per day than I do.
Oh, because I'm working sales and I always have somebody hitting me up.
Did you work today?
You watch more entertainment.
Yes, I did.
I watch. My second app is YouTube. That's why. So it's social network. They classify it social networking. It's because I use it to stream all day.
Yeah,
that's why.
My screen time is a lot because my phone is open.
Yeah,
playing podcasts and music.
Oh, this is actually Sarah.
What's your music app that you use, Aaron?
I use YouTube Music.
YouTube Music,
mm-hmm.
and you can lock the screen and play music.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's your music app, Danny?
Spotify.
You pay for that monthly?
Yes, I do. Yeah. I just got. You know what happens with those things? They get you. I used to get 50% off when I was in school.
Yeah.
They would use a valid student
promo
address.
code. Yeah.
And the thing is, you start creating playlists, and then they actually will take all of your different songs that you play from all the different genres, and they come up with a badass playlist for you.
Right.
And it's like, man, am I gonna let this go? No, I'm not. So I just keep paying it.
Keep paying it.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't get tats like. I used to have Hulu. When Game of Thrones comes back, I'll have HBO again.
Right.
The only one I never can get away from is Netflix, and that's kudos to them because those motherfuckers always find a way of coming up with more and more stuff.
Yeah. Do you watch stand-up comedy on there?
No, he watches
No?
military gender transformation.
Oh, that's because of you. Oh God, this guy had me watch.
How many is there episodes of that?
No, it's this documentary called.
Oh, it's
Transformer.
one documentary.
You gotta watch it,
and
definitely not.
It's
Yes,
about
watch it.
a champion powerlifter, ex-Marine, pharmacist, who at the age of 42, having fathered 3 children, decides that he wants to
Cut his dick off.
Well, no, but he does. He does go as far as on again, off again, like hormonal treatment. But he does go like to his plastic surgery to change his facial structure to make it look more feminine. And then he goes all the way.
Did he get boobs bolted on?
No, but he goes all the way to South Korea to do. I didn't even know this was a thing, dude. They do a thing with your vocal cords, so it's not deep anymore.
Yeah.
And the best surgeons in the world are in South Korea. So at one point he goes all the way out there to do this one procedure. And it's just bananas. But my takeaway, though, from it was...
What is he? A transgender? Aaron, what is he?
Oh, God.
You brought it up, bitch.
Is it gender?
It's transgender.
For a while, when it starts, so I guess the appropriate term is gender fluid, because sometimes he's mad.
Are you accepting to that? Transgender?
Yes, but in this particular case, I feel like he likes attention only because I've been around bodybuilding before.
What was his name?
And a lot of people that do that, they like to be
Body dysmorphia.
No, they like to. They love the attention that it brings.
Right.
And so in this particular case, he's 42 years old. He's had his injuries. He's at. He's not really going to be able to compete anymore because of age and injuries. And so this thing that got him all this attention, all this time. Well, how do I continue to be that? And there's scenes where he's getting emotional, talking about how difficult it is, but he loves it when he's walking around with his wig.
That's her.
What's that? Is that what you're talking about?
I can't see what it is. Yeah, that's
a guy.
That's a guy.
So he
world's strongest man at one point.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he had several records. What I'm trying to say is in the show, there's a couple times when he's walking around, and it's ridiculous because he's talking about like, man, I want to look more feminine, but then he continues to power lift, and then he walks around and he looks like God, like freaking Arnold Schwarzenegger, just put a wig on. And so I don't know.
What this is? It's called body dysmorphia. It's where you just gotta change your body, like the feeling of keeping your body changed.
Yeah, I mean, it's going back to social stigma. I had a professor once tell me that it's
what the fuck.
It's just as common as
crazy. It's a female head on a male body. That's what he was looking for. That's what he wanted to do.
Yeah, what I'm saying is when he walks around though, like of course by doing this and going on social media, he's gonna continue to be.
I think it's a sickness.
I think so too.
Transgender is a sickness. I'm sorry, but wow, that's so strange. Isn't it?
I don't agree with you. I wouldn't say that.
It's a sickness. There's a sickness where you feel like you have to cut your limbs off. It's a mental sickness. It's like people that have anger issues. It's some kind of chemical.
Well, it's not.
Change,
it's not. It's not something. It's not new. I mean, history's shown us that
transgenderism has been around for.
Yeah, there was even a Roman emperor that found a boy that was so beautiful, so he had him castrated. Achilles, even these men were okay.
Yeah, all the Greek stuff.
But again, it goes down
to
what
the fuck, Aaron? Stop. You went on the dude's Instagram or the chick's Instagram, whatever it is.
Yeah,
ma'am, sir. Is that what you call them? Jesus. Yeah, it's so derogatory to say that it's a sickness, but. I think
it's not as common, and that goes back to a lot of times where there's a disconnect even in our own country because, and from a lot of the country, we're not exposed to a lot of gay people or transgender people, and so you're kind of just going off what you think that person may be versus if you actually have a gay friend. And I remember I grew up for a large part of my life in a rural part of Puerto Rico. Yeah. And I got a job. The person who interviewed me, I didn't realize at the time that he was gay. Right. And I was super cool with him. And later found out, because he told me, I have a daughter and all this stuff. So I didn't just flew over my head. And he wasn't like very flamboyant. Right. And that was my first encounter with that. Yeah. And so it does change a little bit if you're exposed to a little bit more. Right.
But that's just homosexuality. That's not like trans. Trans is like you're just turning
not
the page. It's like not only that, it's like you're not even able to cope with it. You have to change something right now, or you have to bolt. I said bolt on, but I'm joking. You have to put boobs on if you're a guy. You have to put or change your genitals or change. It's a sickness. Your mind's not right. You're not procreating. You're not doing anything right. It's not
like all right. Even if you're heterosexual, okay, you still have a type of female that you're attracted to, whether you like to admit it or not. You have a type, and a lot of times you may go through a period where you experiment with different types of women. Maybe they're older, maybe they're shorter, maybe they're like black girls, white girls, Hispanic girls, maybe like mean girls, nice girls, quiet girls. But you at a certain point you realize, this is my type. And
you always go back.
You can watch something even with like a lot of times when people watch pornography, they look for a specific type because that's this one specific thing lights them up. And is that a result of your upbringing, or are you just born that
survival
way?
mechanism?
You know what I mean?
It's your body saying, "Make more people with this person to make another beautiful person." Yeah, and that's why your kids are so beautiful to you, aren't they? Like you see your kids and they smile, your eyes, the apple of your eyes.
Yeah, my daughter's like too big. I don't even want to think about it. Just change the fuck subject. I got like four months left before my daughter starts school.
Just so
it's gonna break your heart. To
be positive, because we have cameras and everyone has a smartphone now. Yeah, a lot of times people believe that promiscuity is higher. It's actually lower now than it was before. Violence is less common here in the U.S. than it was before.
There's more abstinence now. It's crazy.
Well, also it's because kids are getting smarter. Like,
it's going to make more. A lot of kids can't make another person right now.
And going to school and have extracurricular activity. Yeah. There just isn't time for that, and they're very motivated from a young age, to have to do all these things. So it is not as common. Right. So our parents were more horn dogs than
because there was more freedom.
All families were 5 and 6 back then.
Yeah. Yeah.
But a lot of
Now
times
we're still 5 and 6 with multiple
there
people.
was less distractions. So it's like, all right, I don't have anything else to do with.
Maury.
It's the truth. Oh man,
You are not the father.
hey man,
How crazy those shows are, huh? Those shows are insane. Are any of them real? Like any of the people in there?
It's like reality TV. Like it's just scripted too. It's been proven. I had a dude that was on that show Dating Naked.
It's a product, man. I mean, that's the other thing with even like media. There was a time where it was viewed as a public service.
Yeah.
But once it became about ratings, like any normal television show, then you kind of have what we have now. You know, hey buddy, how you doing?
That's a she.
Oh, hey girl, how you doing? Sorry.
Oh man, this was good. This is different getting a third guest on the podcast.
Yeah, man, it's fun. It's
opens it up to different topics.
Are you getting ready for sports season?
No, I'm actually just recuperating from my worst fantasy football season ever because when I go to Cuba, I don't have any internet.
Oh shit!
So
you were over there for a while?
Well, I would go over there at least once a month on
Right.
a weekend. So if a player got hurt or was injured,
You
or there was some
wouldn't be
breaking
able to play that
news,
as factor
I had
in.
no way of setting my lineups, and so I just completely crapped the bed this year.
Yeah.
I'm probably not even.
Did you
gonna
lose money?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I usually at the very least break even.
Right.
And that's why probably this upcoming season, until I stop having to go there regularly, I'm probably just not going to get into it because I'm handicapped because of the fact that I can't I don't have internet for.
Can't constantly keep up with it.
Yeah, because it's all about being able to keep up with it.
Isn't it easier to do it with like day by day then with like FanDuel or DraftKings?
The thing
because
even then,
they
it's
tell
all
you
about like
you don't have to be
you
committed
have
to a whole
apps
season.
that will let you know, like let's say there's breaking news about a player injury or something
Yeah.
like that, so
Yeah.
you have to like work the waiver wire. So when you play fantasy, you can only have so many players on your bench, and so it's always about like you knowing something right away gives you a competitive advantage. And when you're there in Cuba, you only connect to the internet maybe like once or twice a day. You have to like go to a park or have to go in, and then you kind of like get caught up really quickly and then leave.
Yeah.
So if somebody's traded or injured or something like that, you're going to be the last guy to find out. So you lose that competitive advantage that you'd have normally stateside. So
That's constant. Open your phone. It's there.
I have apps that will like notify me immediately when something happens.
Yeah.
So they don't work when I'm over there, and that's why my performance.
You know
was
what?
lackluster.
This brings me to a subject that I'm curious that I heard about, and I think I honestly could see this being your next like big side hustle / gig. They were talking about obviously how like TV networks, like you look at like Fox or just whatever TV networks in general, are losing subscribers to the like the Netflixes, the on-demand TV.
It's going to go a la carte completely.
But check this out. So I guess a good way that they're starting to bring like Fox and ESPN back is live sports betting. So I consider it like the stock market basically. Like
That's
why
why
are people attracted
change
to
the
is
laws
nothing
recently,
new.
though.
The only reason sports is so popular is because of that. The reason why the National Football League is the biggest sport, it's the only
because of
sport
betting.
that if you could have a game that has absolutely no playoff implications. In other words, both teams are completely out of the playoffs. All right, so the only people that are watching it or maybe that should be watching are fans of the team, and it's a fucking blowout.
Yeah.
In other words, you know that the other team has no chance of winning, and yet the ratings don't drop. And why is that?
Money.
That's because,
Money's on the line.
No, because if you understand fantasy, if your kicker is playing on the other team, you don't give a single fuck about who's winning or losing, who's making the playoffs or not.
What your
So the way
player does.
the way fantasy football works
Yeah.
is you draft different players from different teams.
Yeah.
And because of you can see the correlation between the popularity of the National Football League and the rise of fantasy football. So I'm not watching because I care about if the Bears are going to beat the Packers. All I care, I could be watching just because I want to see the kicker.
Number
And if-
37.
Yeah, or I have that quarterback, or I have this wide receiver and running back.
Yeah.
But going to your point, if I don't, I care. My team sucks. I'm a Detroit Lions fan.
Yeah.
Okay, we were good when I was like 5 years old, and so usually by week 6 or 7, I know we're not going to do anything.
Right.
We're endlessly rebuilding, and so for a long time, I just really didn't watch a lot of sports. But the moment I got into fantasy football, the moment I have something vested in it, then it becomes interesting to me.
Right.
And when you manage a fantasy team, regardless of the sport, if that team succeeds or fails, because it's on you. You feel
Right.
me? So
So
when I'm
you've done fantasy for other things like soccer?
No, but I'm just saying I know people that do, and what I'm trying to say is when you are watching sports on television and you're just rooting for a team, it is, if they succeed or they fail, it's really out of your hands. You're just a passive, you're just kind of along for the ride.
Right.
But when it's fantasy, you chose that player. You decided to start or sit this person. And so you feel a little bit more in control of whatever the situation is. And it's a lot
it gets you more involved with more games.
It's more enjoyable.
Well, that's what they were talking about. Sports betting in general is going to be like the one thing that could save like these
television.
Well, no. Yeah. So the only thing, the holy grail right now of marketing is sports, because the only thing you're not going to TiVo unless you're a psycho. Nobody wants to watch. If you already know what happened in the basketball game and how many points each person scored, who won, who lost, you're not going to want to rewatch it.
Some people do that.
Well, would have to
Some people do that. Like, I'll do that. I used to do that. Like, ignore social media and then go straight and watch it. Like, I'm in my own time. Or you'd have that. But most people are not disciplined.
For the most part, like if it's a TV show that has commercials, I'd rather record it and then fast forward through all the commercials.
Right.
People don't do that with sports. People like to watch sports
live
as it happens.
Right.
And so it is the best opportunity if you are in marketing. If you want people to see whatever it is you're advertising, sports is king. But going back to sports is also another reason why you kind of have this broken cable model, where if you want this one channel, you have to buy 17 channels that you have no interest in
nothing
at
to
all.
Do with.
And so now everything eventually will go a la carte, but it won't happen until a lot of these long-term contracts expire, and then everything was going to go a la carte.
That's why it's case by case.
Yeah, like I love
HBO Plus.
I love HBO Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And so when Game of Thrones comes back, I will subscribe. I love Barry. As soon as when Barry comes back, I'm going to resubscribe to HBO Go. And when they no longer are producing content that speaks to me, I just cancel it. When Rick and Morty come back, you bet your ass. One Punch Man comes back in April, and Attack on Titan, I bet your ass I'm going to sign up for Hulu. But as soon as those shows are over,
cancel.
Bye, Felicia.
So you save a couple bucks. You probably save.
Yeah, but
several
that's the thing. That's the way it should be. You should only be paying for content that you are going to watch, and that's.
Isn't it crazy though what the hoops you got to go through to get each one? Like you got to remember, cancel, unsubscribe, go to that, and then turn that.
Well, I think if you just
wish there was like an on-off button. For
and I don't know how to
a la carte, like simple.
I work.
That's an app right there. A la carte, your app. A la carte, your entertainment.
Managing your subscription.
Yeah, like on and off because of this.
Yeah,
like you turn off and on, like just simple touch of a button instead of having to go through emails.
Valley's already come up with the idea.
Honestly. Right now.
Yeah,
they're listening to us.
They are. Dude, I was talking about something. It's happened before with you, right? What? Have you ever been talking about something and it shows up on your feed?
All the time.
No, like literally talking about it and not typing on it. Like if you search
colleges,
and then of course you're gonna get on your social media feed you're gonna see that. But have you ever talked about something and had it show up on your sponsored feed or an ad on Facebook or social media in general?
There's algorithms, so if you have an interest in something, so in other words, a lot of times if people search for X, Y, or Z,
so they jump to the conclusion and
they'll realize, and I mean, social media, they know your age, your gender, your geographical location, all this stuff, and so they can take that and know, okay, if this person likes this, like if Kevin likes guns, then maybe he's also gonna like fishing rods.
I talked, sporting goods.
Oh yeah, so if you like in other words, a lot of people that like this tend to like this.
Right.
Yeah, they know I like Nintendo, so you know what? If there's a new Zelda game, he's probably gonna like it. Stuff like that.
Let's throw that in his feed.
Yeah,
they're trying to sell it to him. They're still listening though, aren't they?
Oh yeah, all the time.
So then they take like something we say RV. Remember, I always said that RV awnings because they'll take that sound bite and then they'll. That's real?
Oh yeah, of course. We've proven. Look online. It's been proven
that they're listening.
Yeah, if you allow it to. Yeah.
With everybody, you got to go through and unselect it, and then it'll prompt you to do it when you want to use your microphone.
Exactly.
It's like you want to use your microphone, and then you press yes, and then it's listening until you remember to turn it back off. Yep. If you remember, for each individual app. So they're gonna, there's a way in. They're gonna just listen. Anybody.
That's
right?
why they're better off just cutting me a check if they want my data.
Did you guys ever see that? Did you see the movie Ex Machina?
Ex Machina?
No,
I never seen it. Is it good?
You should watch.
Is it all animated or is it?
No, it's not animated.
It's real.
It's a live action film. It has Oscar Isaac. It was an independent film. Really cool. Basically, it's like if the CEO of Google was trying to come up with artificial intelligence, and if
it's good,
it really speaks to the times.
I've heard a lot about it. I've never watched it.
Yeah, it's on Netflix, man.
Yeah,
I would highly recommend it. It's a great movie.
Ex Machinist?
Ex Machina.
Ex Machina. It's got the actress.
Is that with Christian Bale?
No, it has Oscar Isaac, the guy. He's in a bunch of good stuff. I love that guy. He's been in Star Wars. He's Poe. He's like the only character I give a shit about in the new Star Wars movies. That's new. He's been in a bunch of stuff. He also had a really good movie called The Most Violent Year. He's a good actor. He's had a couple does. I think he was like a shitty Marvel bad guy in one of the
He was in a
movies.
World War II movie too. I think. God. Can't remember.
He's just one of those actors that, like, man, no matter what, I just like Jeff Bridges. Like, man, anything Jeff Bridges in, I just fucking love him. You know.
He's the dude.
Is there any other actors that are like that? Has Morgan Freeman made a movie that you disliked?
No.
I fucking love Morgan Freeman, man.
No, I was mad that he wasn't in like Django or something.
Oh, that movie was so racist. It made me uncomfortable. I had the worst.
He needs to be that. He needs to do something. That's what I'm saying about Morgan Freeman.
Right,
Morgan Freeman.
I had a girl
take a risk.
I had a girl
get out there,
rip my heart out of my ass, and my buddies were like, "Oh, we need to get you out." And so I'm heartbroken. And these assholes took me to go see the Django Unchained. I felt worse. It's so terrible. Samuel L. Jackson is so racist in that movie. Great. He was like Uncle Ruckus. I was like, oh God, it was horrible.
He's like the ultimate Uncle Tom, right?
You gonna let him in the house? Like, good Lord. I even read something about how Leonardo DiCaprio, like multiple times, was like, man, I don't know if I could say this line.
He said it so
and
hard.
Samuel L. Jackson was like, oh, you good, bro? This is just Tuesday. Like, oh man,
it's such a hard R. When they would say it too. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't know. Somebody has the count of how many times they said the N-word on that freaking movie.
Have you actually ever heard somebody? I was beginning to think, and I don't. If you've ever actually heard it, you know, you have like people
with the hard R.
No, I mean actually used as an insult instead of like the way like white guys would say like bro or dude. You know what I mean?
I've seen some racist people before say the N-word.
Like as an actual insult?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't heard it.
I've been around a group of old white guys that were just throwing it around like
all right. Let me rephrase that. I'm talking our generation. So like here's what I'm saying. Like our generation, for example.
That's dwindling out.
Right now, our kids are gonna treat words like fag as the N-word. Faggot. Like that's not appropriate anymore. And their generation, it was okay to use that word. And I feel like in your formative, in your youth, like how you are in elementary school, if something's okay or not, it kind of goes out. Like, for example, like Kobe Bryant got heated, right? And he called the referee, fucking faggot. Because in his youth, that was okay to say. Even if you listen to a lot of early hip hop, that's how the way they would speak. It was very, it was a lot of homophobic lyrics. And that was okay. Now, when I was a kid, I knew, since I can remember that, my teacher taught me about, my first grade teacher was black. Yep. And she talked to us from a very young age about the civil rights movement and Martin Luther King. Yep. So I knew from that age, hey, man, that's not cool. And I was okay with that. But at the same time, my upbringing in church and the way adults talked about gay people and using those words, then I was guilty of, especially all throughout high school, of using that and not in a nice way. Yeah. And I obviously learned from that. What I'm saying is, as we go forward, when you hear about people that say like incredibly racist stuff, it's almost always an older person, the old guy from Duck Dynasty, Hulk Hogan or something like that. It's like, that's because when he was a kid, that was that. Yeah. And moving forward, when you hear people say like really homophobic shit, it's mostly going to be like people that when they were very young, it wasn't stigmatized. It wasn't.
But the words themselves are being freed up because of that. Because they can be said ad nauseum now, but it's not the weight on the word anymore. Yeah. It's on the intent.
One of my pet peeves though, because it's a slippery slope, is if something should be bad, it should be bad. Yeah. Like there's a rapper Lil Dicky. And then, of course, in his lyrics, they use the derogatory term "kike." Is that the
German?
No. It's what it's like a derogatory term for Jewish people. Yeah, and they would use that. Wow. I've heard some gay stand-up comedians
like say refer to themselves like, oh, I'm the biggest fucking bag, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And if it's bad, it should just be bad. And I hate
they
that.
Can't. They should.
Like it's
they
like, oh, it's not bad if you are, whatever that is. And
so it's labeled bad and it can't be freed up.
What?
It can't be like.
I'm saying if you're gonna be,
as long as the intent is there,
if
like we can talk about it now, we can't say the words right now. Like the words we're talking about, we can't even say it. Like some of the words are not even freed up yet. But I think in the future they're gonna be.
What I'm saying is what we have now is we have like obviously like today there's just a lot of genuine fake outrage.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean. So if I'm at my job and I'm singing along to a Kanye West song, and I'm just singing along maybe Gold Digger, and I drop an M-bomb, is that actually racist?
I'm by myself. No, I'm jamming to some Kanye.
What is a racist? A racist is somebody who believes that they are superior to another person based on the color of their skin. And
that's so far gone though. It's out.
Yeah,
it's so.
And especially like even like me, where we have a lot of people that are I guess multi-ethnic.
Yeah.
My father is kind of typical white guy, and then my mother's Puerto Rican, and it's when I'm around my father's side of the family, that's the little Puerto Rican one, and then when I'm on my Puerto Rican side, that's the little white one, and so I'm stuck in the middle, and so,
that's so funny.
And maybe my perspective is really weird because I don't feel like strongly either way because when I'm with one side, I'm kind of stuck in the middle. And I've met somebody that was like half black and half Chinese.
Really?
And they're like, I'm never accepted by either side. And a lot of people, I think,
those older parents are racist, aren't they?
What?
Those parents?
No. What her experience was the same as mine, which was when they were with the black side of the family, they were the Asian one.
Yeah.
And then when we went to the Asian side of the family, that's the black one. Oh, and with me, like even with, I remember even as a small kid with my dad's grandmother, she would always like, oh yeah, say something in Spanish, Yeah. And then with my Spanish, like I said gringuito, So, you never, I kind of just felt always in the middle.
Yeah.
And it's weird.
You're quiet over there, man. You're falling asleep.
Hey, this is the good thing about having a third guest. I'm letting y'all battle us out. This is a topic for y'all.
Yeah.
I'm not really battling out.
Not battling out, but just getting the different perspectives.
Yeah.
It's going to be easier. I don't know with all the phones now though. It's harder for me to convey my intent, to be like, this is what I mean by this. So I have to explain it a couple times to people.
I think people needlessly like kind of pussyfoot around words because and again. The genesis of a lot, like I always look at like why, what is it like? We were talking about marijuana earlier.
Yeah.
All right, why was it made illegal? And even with the ultra PC culture that we have right now, a lot of times it is because of a corporate culture. In other words, it's not like, it's a good thing and a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's a good thing because people are more accepting. It's a bad thing in that the genesis of it really isn't because it's the right thing to do.
Right.
It's because we want to be open for business, and no company ever wants to feel like they favor anything. So everything has to be ultra sterile and almost robotic. And you see a lot of times in professional athletes and politicians where it's like it's very robotic in the way they speak because they're always afraid of somehow inadvertently offending somebody.
Yeah.
And I feel like with
who
words,
has the ultimate freedom then? The people that have fuck you money? And it doesn't matter.
And in the end, that's a great question.
So
but again, it's these people with big money that are actually pushing. No, are actually pushing it.
We have more freedom then.
Well, no, look at what the Oscars. Like the Oscars didn't have a hostess here, man, because people are so afraid. They attacked Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
And it's interesting too because for a long time, particularly a lot of like African American celebrities were kind of free from kind of criticism of being. They were viewed as not having the ability of actually really being offensive, and now we're seeing that change with Bill Cosby and
Jesus,
Kevin Hart. Like even if you look at something like Raw, you ever seen Eddie Murphy's Raw? It's like one of the greatest stand-ups ever.
Or Richard Pryor. Have you ever heard any of Richard Pryor?
That stuff doesn't fly anymore.
We better call this one a wrap before Aaron really falls asleep over there.
Yeah,
it's been a long day.
I can go. I can
join the combo.
What?
Next time we'll come earlier. Get started. Maybe we'll have beers or something.
Yeah,
no, you fall asleep quicker with that, man.
No, actually not.
We should have some Irish. We should have some Irish coffee, man.
Yeah.
No.
Well, episode 13. It's 2 hours.
That's an unlucky one.
This is probably the longest podcast we've done.
It's gonna take a while to upload it.
Yep.
I have. Remember we always talked about the Captains for Clean Water.
Yeah.
They made a huge difference around the local waterways. They had a new elected official, and that guy came in and removed everybody.
Really?
Yeah, got a whole new water district board, and I have an album cover for this podcast. My brother-in-law made it. Brandon, he has Dogwood Graphics. Mm-hmm. He's on Instagram. He makes a bunch of graphics for people. So give him a shout out.
Oh,
thank you, Brandon, for making that for me. And thanks, bro. Appreciate it, man.
You guys come up with the name yet?
Thank you for pulling through, and thank you, man, for helping me.
Episode 13,
create
another one in the
content.
books. Yeah.
See you guys later.